Okay, guys, we are here today. Good morning. Good morning. A lot of stuff's going on today. We have bank earnings that just released. JP Morgan just released their earnings. We did have some news earlier that came out about potentially tracking data appears to show a number of Iran-linked ships passing through the Strait of Hormuz in the hours after the U.S. blockade of the waterway began yesterday. Again, JP Morgan did post numbers here this morning and a lot of other stuff moving markets. Nvidia, if we take a look at it, is jumping up here. Nvidia is over 190s right now. Look at Nvidia go here. So Nvidia is over 190s. It had a pretty good day yesterday. And this is the first time Nvidia has been over 190s in a minute here. I think a lot of people are watching 190s, but the last time Nvidia was over 190s was all the way back at the end of February. So Nvidia being back over 190s is something to watch today. If we take a look at the NASDAQ here, the NASDAQ is over 25.5s. So very bullish day yesterday. Optimism as there were news reports that the U.S. and Iran are continuing some negotiations. The blockade from yesterday is live. So the blockade is live. The U.S. Navy began blocking Iranian ports starting yesterday at 10 a.m. after weekend peace talks stalled. CENTCOM said ships are passing through the strait to and from non-Iranian ports and they're not impeded. The blockade is specifically on Iran's ports and any vessels that paid Iran a transit toll. If we take a look at crude though this morning here, oil is basically flat on the day. It closed at 98. It's at 97.50. It's basically flat on the day. Brent crude around 98s as well. Trump said Iran, quote, called wanting to restart talks as part of the reason some of the, stabilization and things happened this morning. Again, the president said Iran called wanting to restart talks. Pakistan offered to host round 2 in Islamabad. Markets are pricing in potential diplomacy being back, but it is fragile, right? It is fragile. UBS warned if Hormuz flows stay disrupted, Brent could rip past $150 a barrel. And so just to give you guys some context to everything going on, a lot of stuff happened over the weekend. The talks disintegrated between the U.S. and Iran. Markets did not like it. Oil popped yesterday. Blockade started at 10 a.m. and now potential talks are back on the table. So markets are settling down a little bit. Here is the NASDAQ from yesterday. Again, we're over 25,600s. Here's the S&P 500 from yesterday. We are almost to 7,000 in S&P 500 futures on the E-mini. ES, almost to 7,000. Here is the Dow. But again, one of the stories is bank earnings today. And I appreciate the love. Thanks so much, guys. Shout out to everybody showing up here. Let's see. Shout out to Ava, Apex, PB, Deckers, Old, Jonathan, Qua, Glass, Crypto, Blaze, Cav, Jason, Rory, Matthew, 45, Crypto, Dragos, Yee, Ray, my dad's, John Locke, Pawn, IPV, Anti, Dragos, Big Slum, Farmer, Adam, Details. What's up, guys? Good morning. Good morning. I like your streams. I like you're not acting like you know everything. You just do your job, read news, talk real things. Keep up, my man. Hey, thank you, brother. Appreciate it, brother. Yeah, look, markets are green on the day. Look at the Dow. The Dow is actually a little red, technically, but it had a pretty good day yesterday. One of the things that is probably weighing on this is JP Morgan did report earnings this morning, guys. So JP Morgan, bank earnings are here. So it's bank earning time right now. So here's JP Morgan. You can kind of see the volatility from their earnings. But yeah, JP Morgan, they did return to overweight on EMFX and said contour of endgame in the Middle East are emerging. But yeah, they did report earnings this morning. JP Morgan ended up showing 594 EPS versus 550 expected. So 594 EPS versus 550 expected. BlackRock also reported today. They posted 1253 EPS versus 1197 expected, a 4.7% surprise. JP Morgan showed a revenue of $73.66 billion. They expected $48.2 billion. So much better revenue than expected. And BlackRock showed $6.7 billion versus $6.6 expected. So a slight beat for BlackRock there. But JP Morgan didn't react well. There were still some things in this earnings report that they did not like, apparently. And if we look at BlackRock here, BlackRock is up to 1050s. They're reacting very well to their earnings report. Also, we did just get news that Pakistan's army chief is working to find common ground between the U.S. and Iran's proposal regarding uranium, according to Al Jazeera, citing Financial Times from a Pakistani source. And so that news is going on. It's looking like they're going to try to talk. They're going to try to talk it out. They're going to try to get a deal done. They're going to try to figure it out. Yeah, we'll see what happens, guys. We'll see what happens.
And good morning, everybody.
It's Britt's here.
Yeah, hey. Yeah. Might be why a few ships, reportedly moved through the blockade. I mean, maybe because they're trying to keep diplomatic talks alive, so they might have let a few stragglers get wherever they needed to go.
Sure. Yeah. Potentially, if they're restarting talks, they don't want problems, and so maybe
right.
Maybe this was just a marketing chip.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Maybe they just made a couple of exceptions, just okay, but no more, or whatever. Who knows?
Sure. Yeah. 100%. What's it? Yeah. So Bitcoin, if we take a look at it. So I see somebody mentioning Bitcoin. What's up, Britt?
No, it's no big deal. I was just gonna say the uptick that Nvidia had. We were talking before, and you thought it might have had something to do with the bank report or whatever.
Well,
do you think that's the case?
So I think a lot of chip stocks are higher today. A lot of chip stocks. Intel's higher, Microsoft's higher, SanDisk is higher, MU is higher, Nebius is higher, MBIS, Palantir is higher. So a lot of tech and chip stocks are up. So we also had a report that, according to an expert, sovereign AI could defy software, fears. And so maybe that some of the software fears are overblown today. We got that news. We also had a comparative study that NVIDIA and industry competitors in semiconductors, that NVIDIA is a little bit more resilient. Also, NVIDIA denied rumors about acquiring PC maker HP. Dell stock still spikes over 5%. So there's rumors about a buyout for NVIDIA. But I think NVIDIA is just up on just a rebound from everything going on. NVIDIA's had a pretty common trend here if you take a look at it. If we look at a 20-day chart, NVIDIA has basically been in the same trend for the last 10 days here, where it's been up, 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 up. So NVIDIA has just been on a really nice rebound the last 10 days or so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's been pumping up. So, and we'll see if this continues, guys. We'll see if this continues, but chips are definitely looking a little bit better.
So it could have just been a standalone thing.
Yeah, it could just be NVIDIA strength. Oracle's flying higher here as well. Oracle had a really good day yesterday. Here's the open yesterday, and Oracle flew up. So Oracle pushing up, NVIDIA pushing up. Yeah. Here's MU. Here's SanDisk, again, a memory provider. A lot of these have had rebounds basically for the month of April. So a lot of these have done much better in April. Here's SanDisk, again, SNDK, a memory provider. Will PPI data move markets? I think so. PPI data today includes the March data, right? And if we look at what's expected for PPI today, PPI is expected to show up at 1.1% month over month. 1.1%. That's a very high. That's a very high number here. 1.1%. Look, if we look at this number right here. 1.1% is what's expected for PPI today. Core PPI expected at 0.4%. Headline PPI expected at 1.1%. That's a pretty high number. It's a pretty high margin. Producer prices eventually get passed on to the consumer a lot of the time. And so I know I'm disappearing right now in this thing. Let me go back over here. That's a little bit better. But yeah, producer prices can generally get passed on to consumers. And yeah, it's a relevant thing to watch. We'll see what happens. But
what would have been, just out of curiosity, what would an average number have been?
Last time it was 0.7, but even 0.7 when it showed up last time was high for PPI for February. So February's PPI was already kind of hot. I would say anywhere between 0.3 and 0.5 is average recently, Okay. And so 1.1 is basically double what it's been, essentially.
Yeah, well, and do you think, sorry, excuse me. Do you think that could be because, I guess producers, as long as they could, absorbed costs. I know they try not to pass on costs immediately to consumers, but do you think they just can't do that anymore?
Yeah, I think eventually they do. I think business wise, if you're paying more prices, you might have to raise the price of your products. You might have to, consumers are going to ultimately, the net effect is going to be consumers have to generally pay more from it. It's weird. The chat just stopped. That's very strange. Very strange.
That happened yesterday too, remember?
I know, dude. It was right about the same time. Hello, chat. Are you there? Can you hear me?
Maybe they're just so enthralled.
Yeah, look, they're just so into the stream. Okay, there we go. This back. It was weird,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, no. But I didn't mean to interrupt. Some people were asking about what Bitcoin, and you were about to talk about that.
Okay, yeah. There you go. You guys love me. I knew it. Bitcoin almost back up to 75,000. So one of the things, like Bitcoin, again, to understand it, it wants easing. One of the roadblocks to easing is this Iran conflict. And so markets pricing in, like if we look at a 10-minute chart here on Bitcoin, Bitcoin did really well yesterday on, easing rumors. Obviously, yesterday morning we had the blockade news, but Bitcoin did really well. And now it's up to almost 75,000, which is the highest it's been in a while, I think, right? Bitcoin has not really been this high in a long time. Let's say a long time is relative, of course. Here's a daily chart. But the last time I've seen Bitcoin around these levels was early March. Prior to that, it was, early February. So Bitcoin hasn't really been around 75, 76 in around a month. And that was only once, and then prior to that, it had been another month. So Bitcoin is up to 75,000. I think it's a really relevant spot to watch here. Yeah, we can look at gold. Can the chat predict the bottom today? I believe they can. Just judging off of history, I believe the chat can predict the bottom. I see some people asking about gold and silver in the chat. Here's gold.
I'm always into gold and silver.
Yeah.
I'm curious what they're doing too.
Yeah, we're at 4,800s right now in gold. So gold is doing well today with the rest of the market. Like I said, gold kind of follows macro market. So gold is doing well. Silver is up to 77.70s. Sure, we are easing with the inflation that we get. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying we're going to ease, but I think the sooner this conflict ends, the more likely that will be. I'm not saying we're going to, but the sooner this conflict ends, obviously, the less we have to worry about inflation. The sooner this ends, the sooner the strait gets opened back up and all that stuff, the sooner we can focus on all that stuff. And speaking of easing, let's take a look at yields. I don't know if we're necessarily going to ease this year, still, even if the conflict ends. But I think the chances of it are going to go up if the conflict ends. Speaking of yields, though, I'm guessing they fell yesterday. Yeah, yields fell after being a little elevated because of the craziness over the weekend. Yields did fall back down. Here's 10-year treasuries. We can take a look at 2-year treasuries as well. Here's 2-year. We are currently at 3.76 for 2-year. And most of these are going to follow the same pattern. The longer this conflict drags on, the less optimism there is of the conflict ending, the more yields are going to spike. And if you look at them yesterday, they did spike up to 3.83%. They settled all the way back down here now. And this is interest rate sentiment. So the higher this is, the higher rate sentiment we're going to have. The lower this is, the lower rate sentiment we're going to have. It's still not looking like we're going to cut interest rates this year, but yields did settle on optimism about another potential U.S. deal getting done here yesterday. If we take a look at the Fed watch tool, we can see if those odds have changed at all. Remember, yesterday there was a 3.6% chance of a rate hike this month. It's not looking like that's going to happen anymore. I'm guessing that those odds went down, I'm assuming here, right? Yeah, they did. They went down to only 0.5% likelihood of a rate hike this month. So 0.5% likelihood of a rate hike this month, 99.5% chance of a pause. And so it's looking like we are going to be pausing this month. Where's my guy who claimed, 50 basis point hike? And at this point in time, it's only looking about 0.3% likely that we're going to raise rates at all this year. A little bit more, there's still a 30% chance we get a 25 basis point rate cut, basically. And there is roughly a 35% chance we get at least one rate cut this year, as of now. So a 35% chance we get at least one rate cut this year. Still looking very probable that we are not going to get anything, though. Looks like we're going to pause. What's up, Jay? What's up, Blaze? What's up, Roof? What's up, Kato? What's up, Indian? What's up, Pulse? What's up, Me Haze? I don't know how to say that. Tell me how to say it in chat right now. Help me out. They're going to QE to help banks out? When? When do you think they do quantitative easing? That's a good question. When do you guys think they do quantitative easing? Remember, if you don't know what QE is basically the Fed's money printing. They create online money, they buy up a bunch of bonds with it, injecting liquidity, helping bring interest rates down and stuff like that. But it causes inflation generally. They recently stopped the quantitative tightening, which is kind of the opposite. It's not exactly the opposite, but it's kind of the opposite, where they reduce their balance sheet over time by letting their current holdings basically mature, their bond holdings mature and run off, reducing their balance sheet over time. They stopped QT in November of last year. When do they start QE? They're keeping their balance sheet the same size right now is what they're doing. Silver up to 77.60s here. Here's the NASDAQ. NASDAQ's looking good today, man. And we're close to all-time highs here as well. Approximately never. No QE until 2028. After the summer, after a crash, July, when the rates are 0 or negative. Hopefully a long time from now. Yeah, I'm not even going to try to say that, Brazos, because who knows what that, I don't know what it really says. Anybody telling me to say anything, and I know you're not telling me, I'm going to approach it very cautiously. July is my guess. Quantitative easing is a form of money printing in which the Federal Reserve creates online money, and then they use that online money to buy up a bunch of bonds and other assets, injecting liquidity and expanding their balance sheet. That is quantitative easing. But it causes inflation through dilution, essentially, is what it is. They do it in desperate periods of time. So, like, they did this in 2020 to try to save us from the 2020 situation. They did it in 2007 or 8. And so it's usually a more desperate thing. I think they did it in, like, 2016 as well, if I remember correctly.
So I'm assuming you're saying that you said it's not quite the opposite, because the opposite would be actually
Directly
sucking money
selling
out of the economy.
Well, direct QE would be the opposite of it. Like, direct QT is where the Fed straight up sells their bonds. Instead of letting their bonds, essentially what they do now, like quantitative tightening, is when the Fed just essentially does what's called passive quantitative tightening. It's a little nuanced, but the Fed does what's called passive QT, which means they don't just straight up sell their bonds, which is what the opposite of QE would be, right? QE is buying up a bunch of bonds. Direct QT would be selling a bunch of bonds.
Okay.
They do what's called passive QT, which is basically where they reduce their balance sheet by just kind of letting their bonds mature and run off. So if it's a 2-year bond, right, and it matures in 2007 or 2008, then they would essentially just let it run off. And these are much shorter term bonds, but they would essentially just let it hit the maturity date and then not buy anymore, right? Thus reducing their balance sheet over time. Is what it is. It's called passive quantitative tightening.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, Quantum. So how's Quantum doing, man? I know they've been in the wake of a big pullback from big optimistic levels. Again, Rigetti was at 58s. Now it's at 15s. QBTS all the way down at 14 still. None of these have really rebounded enough for me yet. World Quantum Day is today, apparently. Who knew, man? Today is Quantum Day. A worldwide holiday everybody knows about. It's Quantum Day. And remember, guys, we got PPI inflation data soon. Is this Tobby? I'm going to call you Tobby. I don't know if it's Toby or Tobby.
And with 2 B's, I would guess Tobby too, but who knows? Tobby? Yeah.
I think Tobby pops more, than Toby. Tobby's
I think so.
Boom, all right. So, yeah. NASDAQ's very great. Optimism is here regarding the Strait of Hormuz. So, again, Monday, the talks failed on Saturday. Trump orders the blockade. He said locked and loaded to finish Iran. He threatens to sink ships approaching the blockade. He says, I don't care if Iran comes back to the table overnight. This morning he pivots. He claimed Iran called and they want to work a deal. Vance says the ball's in Iran's court. Iran's president says U.S. threats are ineffective. Iran prefers diplomacy, though, and says the blockade will have a wide-ranging consequence for global trade. Iran's armed forces called the blockade piracy. Thousands rallied in Toronto overnight against it. But technically, the ceasefire apparently is still holding. Trump said yesterday that it's, quote, holding well. There's a back and forth. Every "we're done with talks" has been followed by 24 hours with "they called me and they want a deal." And so, kind of being hardline here. China also, yeah, I mean, a lot of people are going to be saying taco. I'm not saying I agree with it or disagree with it. Taco again stands for Trump always chickens out. I don't know if it's him chickening out. I think this is just his way of negotiating. But again, China warned that blockading Iran, quote, doesn't serve common interest, pressures mounting on the U.S. to de-escalate. So we also had the strategic petroleum reserves approaching their limit mid-April as the critical window. If Hormuz doesn't reopen, the supply gap widens from 4.5 million barrels per day to 10 to 11 million barrels per day. Gas prices are over $4 a gallon as well. Yeah, see, there's the taco people. Yeah, I mean, I can't get mad at you for saying it.
No, I mean, everybody's entitled to their own beliefs, and I'm not saying whether he is or isn't either, but I mean, with, definitively, but I just think, like you said, it's just part of his negotiating tactics at this point. And I might be wrong. Right,
for sure. I think this is just his way of, again, I'm not, look, people, if I say this, I'm sure there's some people that will be like, you agree with him. No, okay, Trump makes threats. He says, hey, we're going to do this, this, and this. We're not going to get a deal done. It's time for this, right? And what I think he's trying to do, and again, I'm not agreeing or disagreeing with it, but what I think he's trying to do, he's trying to get him to come to the table. Look, I'm not one of those people that are just going to disagree with everything somebody does or agree with everything he does. Like, that's just not who it is. I'm very neutral on all this stuff. And I think people have to take their emotions out of it and just look at it objectively from a negotiating standpoint and understand this is probably him trying to get it to go to, trying to get them to come to the table. Could he do this a better way? Maybe. But we'll see if they end up getting a deal done. I'm not sure. I really don't know.
Well, also, like, I'm not a foreign policy expert, so if there is a better way to do it, I don't know what it is. I'm not saying, like you said, I'm not saying it's the best. I mean, but it's not like I have the expertise to, like, give advice either.
No, for sure. Yeah, look, politics unfortunately creates a situation where everything somebody does, people have to disagree with or agree with, and that's silly.
Yeah, it's very polarizing.
Right. I think you got to just take yourself out of it and say, hey, like, what's really going on here? And I think that's what's really going on. The S&P is very green on the day. One of the levels I'm watching on the S&P is this previous closing price. You can see we bounced exactly at that previous close earlier on the day. So leading into PPI inflation data, which again does include March increased price of oil. I'm watching this previous closing price right here. And I'm also looking at the 200 exponential and the VWAP being underneath is the high of the day up here. One of the big psychological levels I'm watching in the S&P is 7,000. Here's 7K way up here. But hey, listen, 7,000 is very close. I can't remember what the all-time high on the S&P is, but it's somewhere over that. It's like 70.43 on the E-mini. So we'll see if we start getting up there towards the all-time highs in the S&P. I mean, obviously, those are some of the biggest milestone levels on this chart. Like, we start getting way up here, maybe bulls get control. And I'm really gonna be watching this. I think we're a little farther away. Here's the NASDAQ. Here's the all-time high. So we're ways away on the NASDAQ here. If we put up a 1 minute chart, you can kind of see the all-time highs on the NASDAQ are way up here. But we're getting close. We're getting closer, at least, on the NASDAQ. What?
All-time high of the S&P is $7,002.28, apparently.
Yeah, well, it depends on which one we look at, right? So I'm looking at S&P 500 futures. If I take a look at the S&P index here, which is SPX on TOS, which is what I'm using. But remember, it doesn't have pre-market data included in it. Like, the S&P 500 is not open pre-market. That's why I look at the S&P 500 futures contract, which is what's called the ES, the E-mini. Yeah, so you're right. So, but the actual S&P all-time high is right around 7K, right? Which makes it even more influential. Is the 7,000 level way up here? It's almost exactly 7,000 versus the S&P 500 here. So,
and when did it hit that?
It hit that
the 7,000 level.
It hit that in late January. Okay.
I was just seeing if it matched up with what I read. I think what I read said January 26th.
Yeah, it was like 26th, 27th, something like that.
Yeah.
And then the Dow hit all-time highs in February. These all-time highs include 50,600s on the Dow, 50K 600s. So, and it's at 48.5s right now. So it's a couple thousand away from it, but it's getting close as well here. I mean, look, here's where we are now. Here's all-time highs. So we get a couple more green weeks in here, we might be pushing all-time highs. And another dynamic here is it is earnings season coming out. So earnings season is here. Bank earnings started. We have bank earnings today. Again, JP Morgan, BlackRock, Citigroup, Wells Fargo, Albertsons, and more released earnings today. And then we get more. Tomorrow we get ASML, Bank of America, Morgan Stanley, Progressive. We get Taiwan Semiconductor earnings Thursday morning. That's going to be a big story. Abbott, Bank of New York, Pepsi, Charles Schwab, Netflix is Thursday. So earnings season is here, and we'll see what this earnings season does. Are you guys bullish or bearish on this earnings season? With earnings season coming out, are you guys bullish or bearish with all the stuff going on? I see bull, bear, bullish, bear, bull. Pretty split down the middle here in regards to earnings season. You're bullish on this earnings season? Maybe. Yeah. Maybe. The question is this. What are the indirect effects of this conflict? Wait. A lot of these earnings are going to be a little bit lagging, though. But still. Does this conflict negatively impact outlook? I guess is the real question for this earnings season. And I don't know. Name bearish. Yeah.
How's the crypto market overall acting today? Not just Bitcoin. I'm curious if they're all seeing an uptick or if it's just Bitcoin.
Well, it depends, right? So, Bitcoin is kind of like I'm looking it up now what the rest of the crypto market is doing, but Bitcoin is generally seen as like the alpha. So when Bitcoin does well, a lot of other stuff well. Some stuff does do the opposite, but yeah, so it looks like the market's doing better for sure. There's more optimism. So I'm looking at like ETH. You can take a look at like ETH futures here. ETH is at 2400s roughly, so ETH has jumped a lot. XRP. Looking up that price now as well. It's at 130s, so. But it's had a pretty good time, you know.
Okay, I mean, I was just curious. I know Bitcoin is the main one. I was just curious how the rest of them were acting.
Yeah, well, Bitcoin's just kind of like the alpha. So Bitcoin, most cryptos follow like Bitcoin. Standard. Not all of them. Yeah. It's kind of like the S&P of crypto, so to speak.
Okay.
Kind of. Yeah, banks are interesting again. JP Morgan, Wells Fargo reported earnings. A lot of stuff did, so. Fart coin. Ridiculous.
It's a real thing.
Yes. Fart coin is real.
What the heck? What is wrong? What's wrong with people? It's
gotten to the point where, okay, this is why you see ridiculous names like this. It's got to a point where cryptos, like small cryptos, need attention, right? And how do you get attention? You give it a freaking ridiculous, ironic name like Fartcoin, right? And so that is why you see a lot of cryptos sprouting up with names like this, is because they want it to gain attention, and they want they want meme traders to jump in and start trading it. And how do you get them to do it? They got to pay attention first. And how do you make them pay attention? You make it a ridiculous freaking name. I'm not buying it still, but you know, good luck if you're in it. I'm not buying it.
Theatrics, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Oracle of inflation data. What's your prediction today? I don't know, man. I'm gonna go. Stick around. I'll give my prediction coming soon, guys. Stick around to see what happens with John's prediction. No, I'll get my prediction out later. I'm gonna have to look at the numbers and see what the trends are.
Wait 1 second.
Higher or lower PPI today? I haven't done a poll yet, so let's do a poll right now. Does today's PPI inflation show up higher or lower than the, what is it, 1.1% expected? Yeah, that's a good poll. Higher or lower than the 1% expected? I'll even give an as expected option. Higher or lower than the 1.1% month over month expected. There you go. Yeah, that poll is now live, so there you go. Yeah, I appreciate the support, Brazzy. I'm gonna assume you meant it well. Yeah.
What do you think happens if it comes in lower? Especially like significantly lower.
Significantly lower, markets probably will go up. Lower inflation data is generally good, obviously.
Yeah.
Inflation data is one of those things where almost universally, sometimes other data can point to a inverse dynamic, meaning like sometimes other data like payrolls, if inflation's really hot, super high payroll print might make the market freak out and panic. So it's called good is bad, bad is good scenario. And sometimes we even find ourselves in a good is bad and bad is bad scenario. Basically, like no matter what, markets are scared, you know. And so, but I think inflation data is a little bit more. Inflation data is a little bit more consistent in regards to what people want for it. And generally, people want lower inflation data, unless the only outlier there is if we're in like a recession and inflation data is coming in super like hyper low. That might cause fears about more economic weakness, right? But that's not what we're in right now. We're not in a recession. We have not had 2 consecutive losing GDP quarters. We have had some weak jobs data, but I do think markets generally want lower inflation, especially in the context of this current market, which has to do with Iran and all that stuff. I think markets generally want low inflation right now because of the oil fears that are going on in markets. And oil, again, sitting right at 97.30s. It did tap that $98 a barrel level here. Here's CL futures. You can see the previous closing price right at 98. So you can see the CPI right at 98. And we'll see what happens today with PPI. PPI could influence things today. We'll see. It could. Again, PPI is expected to go up to 1.1%. We did a poll today. 53% think higher, 22% think lower, 25% think as expected. Here's the NASDAQ. NASDAQ at 45,660s. And again, what do you guys think for the inflation data today? Do you guys think the market reacts positively or negatively to this data here? I mean, obviously, I think either one of them can happen. It depends on what the data shows up as. But do you guys think we get a bullish or bearish reaction to this data? You know, let me know. Let me know. We have 40 minutes left. 40 minutes. If you look at the timer, we have 40 minutes until PPI inflation data. We'll see what happens. It's been a time in which markets have been paying less attention to inflation data. But I think PPI is important because it includes, this is March data. And we haven't had a lot of recent economic reports. Like March data is relevant right now with all the stuff going on. Lower, still laggy, bullish, rate hike, 29th of April. Ridiculous.
So what's your guess on the poll?
I don't know, man. I'm gonna wait and give my guess in a little bit. I'll give it like.
Oh yeah.
My
bad. I think you already said that.
You're trying to get a sneak peek, Britt, and it's not happening, bro. It's not happening.
I'm trying to goad you. Yes.
No, you're good. Yeah, NASDAQ at 25,660s. I don't think it will matter, but would be bullish. You think we're going to have a bullish inflation print today? The last CPI report, you could argue, was bullish. You know, CPI did show up lower than expected. It was really interesting. Some people reported hot inflation. Some people were like, inflation is heating. And others were like, inflation cooled. It's the bull signal of the century, right? The reality of it is it's somewhere in between in the last CPI report. The last CPI report showed up lower than expected, but still on an objective basis, pretty hot, all things considered. And so basically what I'm saying is none of them are really wrong, but today I think we have to take a look at both. We have to take a look at where inflation is, like relative to expectations, but also just in general where month over month inflation is. Again, if we take a look at this, it is expected today at It is expected today at 1.1%. Core is even expected to, I believe, no, Core is actually expected to decrease 0.1%. Last time was 0.5, they're expecting 0.4. Year over year PPI last time was 3.4%, Core was 3.5%. So what I'm really curious about is to see what this year over year metric is. It's less relevant for PPI, but I want to see what this data shows as well. Because we could pop over 4 today, with especially on this one here, the headline inflation data here. That includes energy increases, so we'll see. We'll see. But markets are bullish ahead of this report. NASDAQ up, oil down today on optimism about a potential U.S.-Iran deal getting done. Is there a big difference between CPI and PPI for full porting evals? I'm not saying you should full port evals. You know, if they allow it, I'm not incredibly upset about it. You know, like if the platform allows it, they allow it. You know, and so whatever you can get to gain the volatility you need to pass it in one trade, if that's what you're trying to do, bro. I mean, listen, I'm not gonna do it. I might trade the follow through of it, but I'm not gonna, you know, full port evals. But if your platform allows it, I can't knock it, really. You know. What I will say is that CPI generally has a bigger move. Not always. It depends on what the numbers show. The last CPI report showed basically flat numbers, slightly lower than expected. And so the reaction we got from CPI might have been a little more muted than if it was way higher than expected and we had a big downward push, or way lower than expected, we had a big, you know, push up. As expected, it's going to equal less volatile reactions. So really it just depends on the number. It depends on the number. Today's is relevant. Sometimes PPI moves more than CPI. It just depends on the number. And I think that's what you got to consider today. And you can watch it live here in 35 minutes.
What is full porting?
What he's talking about is just going big, go max size. Generally speaking, we get a big spike or a big dip when the data comes out. Especially for big reports like PPI or CPI or NFP data or whatever, right? So what he's talking about is just going big with size, taking a big position right before the report comes out, and if he's wrong, losing the account, and if he's right, making a bunch of money and potentially passing the account and getting funded, right? That's what he's talking about here. I don't recommend that. Not recommending that here. Not an investment.
So it's basically going all in.
Right. It's basically gambling on CPI, PPI, right?
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Yeah, full port equals full portfolio. Full ported, bro. Put them on the table. Yeah, maybe one day I'll do that for you guys. I'll watch somebody lose 20 Apex accounts in 3 seconds. I call it YOLOing the cat as the cat. I call it YOLOing the account as well, Mama Pawn. You know, I come from a different time, a different generation. Okay.
Back in your day, huh?
Back in my day, I had to walk 5 miles
both ways
in Baton Rouge, not in the snow because there is no snow in Baton Rouge, but still
not in the swamp.
In the swamp, that's right. Alligators trying to bite me everywhere. Okay. So you think there's a chance? Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm expecting higher, but hoping for lower. Like, I'm trying to have some optimism.
Yeah, that's reasonable. I'm not necessarily mad at that. I think that's what most people expect today, is a little bit higher. Yeah. Yeah, I would just be careful with that. Yeah, well, my mama said alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth and no toothbrush. That's all I'm saying, guys. That's all I'm saying. Listen, The Water Boy, a national treasure of a movie.
Oh, yeah.
And being from Baton Rouge, it couldn't be... I mean, it's much different than that, obviously.
Yeah, but when that movie came out, I think some people legitimately thought, like, oh, all of Louisiana's like that.
Right, like, Baton Rouge is like the city, so to speak. It's like an hour away from New Orleans, you know? And so, it's not really... I mean, that outlier, yeah.
It's definitely
There's some country parts. Right, there's some country parts, don't get me wrong, but... Is optimism allowed here? Of course it's allowed. Honestly, people have called me a permabull. All my life, they've been trying to keep me down, and the market's been pushing up. NASDAQ up to 25,650s here, 25,650s. We have 35 minutes left, chat. 35 minutes left.
I'm telling you, you should market your own energy drink called Permabull.
Honestly, you would be surprised at how many Waterboy references my family and I do on a regular daily basis, you know?
I mean, when you don't take it seriously, it's funny. It really is. Like, when it first came out, I was kind of like, how dare they, you know? Like, personally affronted. But like, you gotta have a sense of humor about, like, yourself and life.
Yeah, no, 100%. So I'm looking at this poll. So tons of price increases happening in industry because of the conflict right now, and inflation will continue. Yeah, no, inflation is expected to jump up. Again, 1.1% month over month. In PPI, the most influential one is going to be month over month regular PPI inflation. Core PPI is important too. But those two readings, month over month core and headline, are going to be very relevant. And again, month over month is expected to jump up 1.1%, which is a high number here, a high number. So you can't be so serious about everything. Yeah, I mean, I'm not. If anything, I respond to almost everything with sarcasm. Oh, what a full port, it costs 70.
Yeah, sarcasm is a very versatile response.
Yeah. Yeah, speaking of this, though, the NASDAQ just popped here, guys. I'm trying to see what this is for. Some type of news just dropped. So let's get serious. BlackRock CEO says demand is structural for private credit, says that is not changing, adds institutional demand for private credit is accelerating. I don't think this is what's driving this move here. Something is causing markets to pop. Let me check tweets. Let me check here. We're on it, guys. Iran mulls pausing its Hormuz shipping to avoid derailing talks. That news just dropped about 20 seconds ago. Iran is pausing its Hormuz shipping to avoid derailing talks. This news just dropped.
If there's anything to that, that's a big development.
Yeah, like, look, so that news right here is, I think, what's making markets pop. We could also look at oil. If oil's going down, this is probably what it is. Yeah, oil just dipped pretty quickly on this report as well. Here's oil falling on this as well. So, again, Iran essentially pausing its Hormuz shipping to avoid derailing talks. So it's looking like they're trying to come to the table here. But we've kind of filled this whole move back down here. Here's oil. So we're back up to almost 97s. Let's see if it holds. Here's the NASDAQ. NASDAQ jumped up to 25.7s and then dipped all the way back down to 670s. But again, Iran reportedly pausing its Hormuz shipping to avoid derailing talks, according to Bloomberg. I get up in a lot of different places regarding the news. Again, I'll say it once, I'll say it again. That song sounds like I'm fighting vampires in the 90s. You know. All right, guys. NASDAQ at 25,666 right now. Oil is at 97.2s. Yeah, it's back up. Oil has kind of filled the whole gap. It's at, 97 something. Depends on which oil we're talking about. Brent is a little bit lower, I think. Citigroup also just reported earnings. That could be driving this as well. Citigroup just reported earnings. I'll put the Citigroup numbers up in chat. Here's Citigroup here. So Citigroup did just report, and look at them jump. So Citigroup did just report earnings. They posted 306 versus 263 EPS. Revenue of 24.63 billion versus 23.51 billion expected here. All right, guys. Citigroup is out. Sorry, I got to do this too. So, yeah, I'm checking on everything. So, again, Citigroup posted better than expected EPS and revenue. They are jumping up a little bit. Again, we'll see what inflation does. Here, we'll see what inflation does. We got about 1,000 people here. We'll see what inflation does. We still got 30 minutes before this report drops.
So, I've got to disagree. I think that music sounds like it's like right out of Streets of Rage. Remember that old Sega game?
Streets of Rage was great, dude. I used to love Streets of Rage.
It was the best. I still play it from time to time, to be honest with you.
I haven't played it in probably 25 years more, maybe.
Well, What's great about all those old games, you can literally just go to like a simulator site and play all of them. They're so small.
Oh, for sure. Nowadays, yeah, you can go anywhere. I'm trying to see what oil does here. So oil did dip a little bit. I don't know if this optimism is going to hold. I'm looking at other breaking news. I don't really see anything. Amazon confirms it's going to acquire Globalstar GSAT for $90 a share and expand the LEO satellite network. But yeah, oil, again, is lower this morning heading into inflation data today. Oh, the box office is struggling anyway. Balls of fury. Probably not touching Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin's doing okay, man. It's going to depend on the inflation data, though. It really is. Oil coming down. It's going to depend on the data here today, though. Upper over 6. All right, guys, we have less than 30 minutes left. We have 28 minutes left. Inflation will be high. It doesn't sound bullish. Yeah, oil's red from this report. And again, the report is that Iran is reportedly mulling pausing its Hormuz shipping to avoid derailing talks, according to Bloomberg. I don't understand markets, that much I know. Well, there's a lot to understand.
I'm right there with you, so it makes you feel any better.
I mean, Brit's learning as we speak here, so Brit's learning, you know.
Yeah.
It doesn't take, like, what you have to learn is that there's all these different sectors, and we kind of cover them all here, but there's futures, there's stocks, there's crypto, there's indices, you know, if you want to use the fancy name for it. But there's a lot of different sectors of markets. Futures mostly meant for short-term trading. They expire quarterly, right? A lot of it is commodities, broad indexes, you know, and more. Stocks are exactly what they sound like, individual stocks. Indexes are just like a bunch of different stocks combined, basically, is what an index is. All right, so let me put this up. Yeah, also, guys, be sure to give me a follow on Twitter. Give me a follow on Twitter. At Beginner Trades. At Beginner Trades. We are going to be posting all the big earnings and everything. Yeah, the NASDAQ, we'll see if we end up bouncing back up. I'm holding the bag. Bitcoin bag holder. Bitcoin depends on the supply. Yeah, I'm trying to think about what I should do here. I don't know. I really don't know what I should do. How are you guys doing today? What?
Oh, I was just saying everybody should smash the like button. Because
y'all should. Hit the like button, guys. Hit the subscribe button. We do this live every single day. We'll see what we get, but we do this live every single weekday morning for free right here. Hey, Brit, another guy named Options Brit just followed me, dude.
Really?
It's your nemesis right here, dude.
Bizarro Brit, you know?
Right. Dark Brit, you know? Yeah.
If it's Bizarro Brit, he's probably very tall and handsome.
Actually, he's actually British, so you might be Dark Brit.
I mean, I'll take that. I'll take that title, you know?
Right. For sure.
I can bear the mantle of that responsibility.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, thank you, Crypto Quick Hits. I appreciate all the follows, guys, on X. Thank you. All right, are you guys long or short here? I don't know what I'm going to do here. Here's the NASDAQ. NASDAQ's still pushing up towards the highs. High in the day on the NASDAQ is right here. Psychological level as well. So I'm looking at 25,700s here. We have the 200 exponential below us right here. I'm looking at this bottom right around 650. We'll make it 650 just to keep it fair. And at 650, I think also if we zoom out to the left, has more confirmations. So 650 to 700 is the range I'm watching. If we pull back to 650, maybe I will buy it. Maybe. But we are heading into the inflation data report here, guys. We have 24 minutes. 24 minutes. Let's see what we get today. Inflation data goes live very soon. Very soon. again, the inflation report goes live very, very soon. We have 24 minutes left. If AI takes all the jobs, who's left to buy anything in the economy? That's why I don't understand markets. Aren't they supposed to be forward-looking?
I wonder about that too, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, look, AI is going to replace jobs. It's an inevitability, to quote Thanos. It's an inevitability. AI is going to replace jobs, and it already has to a certain extent. Again, I was explaining this to Britt. I'm not going to talk about the site I built because I don't really want to debut it yet, but I built the site in about an hour yesterday using AI. Prior to AI, it would have taken me legitimately a month to build this site, right? Like a month to program the site without AI. And so we're going to have an exponential rise in production, and we already kind of are, versus what we had previously, like pre-2020, really. Pre-2021, when it started taking off. And so, number one, that's true. And so what we're going to see is we're going to see maybe more entrepreneurs with AI. But I think jobs themselves, you know, they might need less people. And so I do think that there's going to be peaks and valleys in regards to hiring and jobs. But I think the net effects short term is going to be less need for humans. Just looking at it objectively, I think we're obviously going to have less need for humans. And so, yeah, and this is coming from somebody that, again, I know how to program. I was a front end developer, JavaScript, React Native, some Python. And again, most of what I knew how to do is replaced by AI at this point. And so I don't want that redundant, to be right. It's useless now. Front end development for sure. Back end guys, you guys might be a little bit more resilient, even though AI can probably do that now too. But front end guys are definitely getting replaced by AI. And front end is just design programming.
For now, I think the haven to flee to is, we talked about this before, but I'll touch on it again. It's physical labor, skilled labor, things that you have to be in person do, like, things that we don't have robots to do yet, basically.
Right, for sure. And again, eventually, like I said earlier, we will have robots, but for now, those are a little bit more immune, a little bit more resilient.
And even then, there'll be I think a transitional period. Like, you have to figure out just how effective they are, non-biased decision making in like circumstances you find yourself in on the fly. Things
sure.
Like that.
No, 100%.
But I did think that I've been kind of pondering about AI in terms of starting your own small business. I think it would take a lot of the guesswork out of that and make it easier for people to, like you said, to start businesses.
Well, it really is, right? Like, especially in terms of software. And this is why software has been on such a large slump lately, is because of this dynamic. Specifically that it's a lot easier to build software nowadays, guys. Again, I built something yesterday. It took me about an hour. Again, prior to AI, it would have taken a month, maybe longer for me to build that site myself. If I hired somebody, it would probably cost, just to build the site I built yesterday, it'd probably cost $5,000-$6,000. And so, again, I built it in an hour. For $0, guys, $0. I literally paid $0 outside of my AI subscriptions that I already paid for anyway. And so that's where the software slump comes into play, is that now people can build their own software very, very, very easily. Anyways, NASDAQ is pushing up towards the high of the day. We do have PPI inflation data coming out soon here, guys. 20 minutes left for PPI inflation. Be careful. We'll see what happens. But PPI inflation data drops very soon. Again, PPI inflation data drops very, very soon. Be ready. NASDAQ is pushing towards the high of the day. I'm assuming oil's coming back down with it here. Yeah, oil's falling. NASDAQ pushing towards highs. And I think it's good for a lot of reasons if the U.S. and Iran get back to the table of negotiation here. I think that's what markets are pricing in yesterday and today so far. I think the fact that they know we're not going to accept anything that includes enrichment, and I think them trying to come back to the table means they might be giving a little bit in that point here. And that might be what markets are pricing in. Again, this is pure speculation. I don't know. But I think that might be what markets are pricing in as optimistic here regarding this conflict. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that's correct?
I hope you're right, but I think you also have to take into consideration the fact that it may just be more deception or at least stalling.
Sure. No, 100%. That might be true.
I hope not. I hope they're serious. I mean, for obvious reasons.
No, for sure. 100%. But you never know. We'll see if they're serious or not,
Yeah.
Do you guys agree with that? Yes or no? Put it in chat right now.
Yeah, more specifically, and I mean, I know we don't want to dwell on this too much, but in terms of using AI to start businesses, more specifically, I meant like being much easier to compile, like market research data and overhead costs, and just the stuff that most people have no idea about, or at least have no idea how to go about gathering themselves.
Right. No, for sure. 100%. Do you think news trading is dangerous? Wix matter, I believe. No Wix shows charts more clean. Here goes my scalp. What are we agreeing with? What I'm agreeing with is that markets are pricing in the fact that the U.S. and Iran wanting to start negotiations again, and with Iran knowing that part of our conditionals are that we do not want their enrichment, that they might be starting to give a little bit in terms of their enrichment goals. That's what it seems like to me. Markets are pricing in. Again, I'm not saying I agree or disagree, but I think that's what markets are pricing in, is potentially Iran conceding a little bit and going the no enrichment route. We'll see. But markets are up. NASDAQ just turned a little bit, though. Let's see if oil spiked. Oil went up a little bit. I wouldn't call it a spike. 90-10 odds Iran is stalling. Yeah, it's possible as well. We have 18 minutes left. 18 minutes. Yeah, I don't know if I'd say this is ripping, but it's definitely up a little bit here short term. You can see this move on oil right now. Here's CL futures oil. They have bounced over the last 3 or 4 minutes.
Is the correlation rate between oil and markets usually pretty consistent? I mean, do they usually stay pretty close together?
No, I mean, it depends on what's going on. It depends on what's moving markets. If Nvidia and microchips are moving up markets, there's less obvious correlation between oil and markets. If what's moving markets is potential ceasefire news or Iran news or anything that causes optimism might make markets push up and oil go down, or vice versa. Anything that shows more escalation might make oil push up and markets move down. So it really depends on
what the catalyst is.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it depends on the catalyst. JP Morgan CFO just said they feel good about the market franchise and there's some pockets of very durable revenue. Yeah, so AMD did release major GAIA generative AI platform update. NVIDIA is expanding their AI infrastructure partnership through Teams immersive video flows for Apple Vision Pros. We got that news this morning. And again, we are heading into PPI inflation data in 15 minutes. PPI inflation in 15 minutes here, guys.
Ooh.
See what we get.
Also, I think it's weird that we both use the same word. You must have the same word of the day calendar as me, huh?
Catalyst? Yeah, I use Catalyst. I probably am the top 3 most widely using Catalyst person in the world right now. So basically, you copied me here. You copied me, Brad. You know it.
It seems verifiable too. Like everybody just knows that John, uses that word all the time.
Yeah, that's right. Everybody knows it's my word, Brad.
I'm going to admit it to everybody right now, just to save a little bit of face. I totally copied John.
I believe that. I truly do. John is a catalyst. That's right.
You're a market mover, buddy.
Yeah, that's right. NVIDIA over 190s here, guys. So look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA is over 190s. 190.50s right now for NVIDIA. So let's see if it holds here. But, dude. NVIDIA over 190s here, guys. Over 190s.
Dang.
Yeah. Here we go. Data's coming out. 15 minutes. 200, I think, is the big level for NVIDIA, though. I think we got to watch 200 on NVIDIA. Apple's flat on the day. Meta, green. Meta's at 640s. Again, I think most people are just watching, like, the S&P, oil, gold, to see the reactions. The Iran conflict is taking such center stage and all this stuff. Yeah.
What's the all-time high on NVIDIA?
It's what, like 212s, I want to say, or something like that, if I remember correctly. I'm trying to... I think it's like 212s. Yeah, 212.19.
Good memory.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, you start to remember, like, NVIDIA is the most heavily weighted stock in market, so you generally, like, it's one of the ones that I'm more likely to remember. Ask me what the other ones are, I won't know.
I'm just going to assume you totally know all of them. Yeah,
dude, I'm like the guy off of, what is it, Suits? I'm like the guy off of Suits. I remember everything. NASDAQ, again, let's see if we break 25,700s. The inflation data is coming live in 14 minutes. Here we go, though, guys. Again, PPI inflation data, incredibly important today. It includes March data. It does include March data here, guys, so it is something that you want to pay attention to. And March data is very relevant with the current conflict going on and everything going on right now. March data is relevant today. So... let's see what we get, guys. PPI inflation, 13 minutes. Give me your... oh, wait, I haven't given my prediction for it. Okay, so I'm going to preface this with I am not always right about PPI inflation. Sometimes I'm wrong about PPI inflation, guys. You know, believe it or not, I do get things wrong sometimes. But PPI inflation...
I believe in you.
Yeah. Oh, also, we did have ADP data come out. I kind of missed it because ADP data is kind of irrelevant at this point in time. But ADP data did show up today. It's not the big report that most people want to see, though. ADP data did show up. It should have been 39,000 versus 26,000 previously. So we are seeing some rebounds in jobs here. We'll put this up on screen, but the ADP data is out. Again, it's not really market moving, especially today with PPI inflation data. So I don't want to dilute some of the stuff we cover, but ADP data is out. There it is right there. PPI data is dropping in about 12 minutes.
I know I could always just look it up myself, but what does ADP actually stand for?
It's automatic data processing. It's a payroll processor is what it is, right?
Okay.
So it's a company that reports payrolls and processes payrolls. And so they have a little bit more jobs data. Some would argue they're more accurate than the Fed, or not than the Fed, than the government, I should say. So will there be a...
Go ahead, sorry.
So I'm seeing somebody ask, will there be a sudden pump in PPI? There's going to be an increase. Again, it's expected today. Let's put these numbers up. I'll put the expected numbers up for PPI in the chat. PPI month over month is expected at 1.1% today. Core month over month is expected at what, 0.5%? I think is what it's expected at today for core. Let me make sure I'm getting this right. Yeah, core today is expected at 0.4%. So it's actually expected to decrease a little bit. So here's PPI month over month data right here. You can see it right there now. So PPI, there's the expectations for PPI inflation. BLS is BS, according to a lot of people. They just had a lot of revisions here, and I think that's what we have to watch some of these reports for, is revisions. Yeah, for revisions. And we'll see if we revise data. Again, they've got a lot of heat for their revisions on a lot of different things here. So they've had to revise a lot of stuff. And again, that's what everybody's kind of worried about with some of these reports, is that they're going to have to revise the previous numbers into weaker data. PPI will be 2%. If it's 2%, markets are almost certainly going down here. So if it's 2%, markets are almost certainly going down. We have 10 minutes left. Chat, 10 minutes. If it's 2%, markets are freaking out. What's the percentage month over month data shows up as? Again, it's expected at 1.1%.
You got to will it, though, man. You got to will it to come in lower.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know what... I'm going to go with... All right, so Senator Scott says Kevin Warsh Fed chair is next week. I'm going to go with my percentage here for PPI data. I'm going to go with 1.2%. 1.2%. So slightly higher than expected is what I'm going to go with. Again, I might be wrong. It might come in at 0.9% or something like that, and markets might celebrate. I'm going to go with 1.1 or 1.2%.
What's your reasoning behind that? Or is it just a, I mean...
honestly, it's just a straight up guess. Oil's higher, producers paying more. You know?
Well, I mean, at least it's an informed guess, you know? I mean...
Yeah. I mean, it's looking at prices and the potential increase to everything, but NASDAQ is falling down a little bit here.
Also, I'm pretty sure you're infallible, so...
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I am. That's what they say, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you're also the greatest Halo player in history, so...
That's true, too. My infallibility rings in the streets, Britt. Rings in the streets. Yeah, top 3 guesser. Honestly, it's surprising how much I've gotten CPI right. I don't want to set that standard, though. I might not get it right, guys. I might not get it right.
I don't know why that was so funny. Top 3 best guesser.
I'm definitely top 3 best guesser ever. They're definitely going to cook the numbers. Will these numbers be accurate, guys? We got 8 minutes left. 8 minutes. 8 minutes here, chat. Will these numbers be accurate is the question. And I don't freaking know. I don't freaking know. We'll see. But PPI inflation data comes out soon. So just be ready. JP Morgan CEO expects to use excess capital in businesses and loans. Ooh. It's time. And PPI data is relevant today, guys. So again, it includes the oil prices rising for March since this conflict started. We have 8 minutes left. Hit the like button next to the play button. Put it in 2x speed. Again, hit the like button, guys. Hit the like button. I'm surprised oil's not at 150 already. Yeah, the big story of this is going to be oil and how that impacts PPI inflation data. Just to give you guys some context here. This is for March. This is for March. So during March, here's where March started. Here's the price of oil. And the PPI inflation data is going to be for this month specifically. Here's where March started right here. March started here. And so you can kind of see the sudden increase to the prices of oil from this conflict. And the reason it's all relevant today is because PPI measures what producers or businesses pay for inputs and what they charge for output. Oil is an input in basically every physical good and service in the economy. And so when oil rises, costs rise across the supply chain. It goes, direct energy costs are going to have instant impact and a big weight in PPI. Diesel fuel, gasoline, jet fuel, heating oil, and natural gas. So these will show up as a single month spike because they're literally weighted into the index. Again, petrochemical inputs, plastics, synthetic fibers, fertilizers, asphalt, more. And raw materials are going to be relevant as well. So when oil rips, every manufacturing paying for these inputs sees their cost basis jump higher here. They pass it on to the next buyer in the chain, and PPI captures what that is. So PPI today, incredibly relevant. Incredibly relevant. There's also an indirect cost. So truckers raise prices because they're paying more for gas and diesel. Wholesalers pay more, retailers pay more, farmers pay more for diesel, airlines pay more. The price of plastics rise with the cost of oil increasing here. And again, here's the oil increase from March. And so services PPI also rises as well. So WTI crude, which is right here, went from, again, about $65 a barrel here pre-war to 97, 96, 95 where it's at today. And up to over 115s initially when this conflict started. And so headline PPI is going to show direct pass-through on direct oil pass-through. So direct impacts of oil. Core PPI strips out direct oil. And so if this is high as well, it means the indirect pass-through is hitting margins. So indirect pass-through could potentially reflect in core. And here we go, guys. This is about to show. Let's see what we get. Again, less than 5 minutes. Less than 5 minutes. Again, we're going to detail everything as soon as it drops. We are also going to throw this in sub-only mode. So if you have not already subscribed, do it now. Everybody's doing it. Just try it one time. We're going to look at this data. We have 4 minutes left. Hit the live button next to the play button.
Air pressure, everybody.
Everybody's doing it. Just do it one time. See how
all
it feels.
All the cool kids.
Right. Do it now. Do it now. And again, the question is, do we see core spike as well here? Again, core excludes food and energy, so oil. So we'll see if we see some indirect effects of oil on core prices also. Again, inflation data was much higher than normal, but a little bit less than expected here. And so if we see a similar dynamic in PPI, yeah, we'll see. Here we go. We're at 96.40s. I'm going to put the price of oil and I'm going to put like maybe the NASDAQ or the S&P up here. Would you guys rather the NASDAQ or the S&P 500 up on screen? Let me know. 4 minutes, Lear. Chat, 4 minutes.
S&P. That's my vote.
Yeah, that's what I got up. It's the S&P.
Someone says, you are good at this show, John. I would say he's the best at this show. He ought to do this for a living.
I'm definitely in the top 3 for sure. You know, out there. All right, most people want the NASDAQ here. NASDAQ in gold. S&P, NASDAQ. Okay. You guys have spoken, and I will oblige you. Here's the NASDAQ.
All right, but I'm not happy about it.
Speaking of this, though, look at the NASDAQ jump up. Something just happened to make the NASDAQ jump up just now. I don't think it's PPI data releasing early. I don't think the Bureau of Labor Statistics would do that to us.
It's not out. I'm looking at it.
No, it's not. We have less than 4 minutes now. We have 3 minutes left here, chat. 3 minutes. 3 minutes. But the NASDAQ did just jump up with some volume here on that last candle.
Is there anything on Twitter?
Oil fell as well here. Look at oil dip. So oil did just now. The NASDAQ did pop. New Squawk financial earnings recap. No, that's not it. Yeah, you can check the tweets. It's not leaked numbers. I don't see any news here, really. But I do see the NASDAQ pushing towards highs of the day here. We have 2.5 minutes left. 2.5 minutes left. I don't see any breaking news to justify this pump, though. Weird. It looks catalyst driven, though. It does look catalyst driven.
And also, I know it's not Twitter anymore. I mean, I know it's X, but like, it's just so much easier to call something a tweet. Like, what do you even call it when it's X?
Hey, guys, 10 seconds. Or no, I'm sorry. 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Yeah, I still call it tweets. I call everything a tweet. But look at oil dump down. Here's oil dumping down. We have about 2 minutes left, guys. 2 minutes left. I don't see any recent tweets, though. So there's no recent tweets driving this move. Who knows what this is? Could just be liquidity showing up.
Maybe just anticipation.
Yeah, potentially here. Again, about 1 minute and 45 seconds left. But look, you can see the volume spike here as well, which is interesting. Like, here's the volume jump. Volume jumped up to 760s. And then here's the NASDAQ. And then oil dipped simultaneously. So it looks like it's some type of Middle Eastern follow through is what it seems like to me here. Like some type of Middle Eastern follow through. But here we go, guys. We got 1.5 minutes left. Hit the live button next to the play button. Put it in 2x speed. Let's see what we get here. PPI inflation data is coming very soon here, guys. Very soon. We're going to watch for this report to come out very soon. We have about 1 minute left. 1 minute. Are you guys bullish or bearish on this report now? Bullish or bearish? We have about 1 minute left. We have about 2,000 people here. Less than a minute. Yeah, I don't see any tweets. Bearish. Give me your last minute predictions. We got 50 seconds. Bear. Mostly bears. But I do see some bulls in the chat. Okay. Again, my guess, again, I'm going to go with it again, is 1.2% month over month. PPI inflation data. 1.2%. I might be wildly wrong. Do not copy me. I'm not an investment professional. Let's see what we get to though. We'll see what we get today though. 30 seconds here, chat. 30 seconds. Here we go. 25 seconds. 25 seconds. We are ready here, guys. 15 seconds. Hit the live button next to the play button. Put it in 2x speed. Make sure you're on time with the stream today. It's expected at 1.1%. Last time was 0.7%. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And here's the report right now. Waiting here, guys. Waiting. Okay, PPI year over year, 4%. Core PPI month over month, 0.1%. 0.5% on the month. Way lower than expected. 0.5% on the month for PPI data versus 1.1% expected. 0.5. About half of what we expected today. Much lower than expected PPI inflation data. Core PPI showed 0.1% versus 0.4% expected. 3.8% on the year for core PPI versus 4.2 expected. 4% on the month. Or 4% on the year for PPI data, 0.5% on the month. Much lower than expected data today everywhere. Everything was lower than expected. They also revised the previous ones down a little bit as well. So they revised the previous ones down a little bit, lower than expected almost everywhere for PPI inflation data. Lower than expected almost everywhere. Now, stick around, guys. We are going to dig deeper into this report today. We are going to dig a little bit deeper into this report. But PPI inflation data unchanged in a lot of ways for March. 0.5% here. Look at this report. Well, watch the market. The market's actually negatively reacting to this here. Look at this on the right side. So look at the NASDAQ fall on this report. Again, we showed up at 0.5% less than expected here. 0.5% less than expected. So we did show up less than expected here. Less than expected. And again, here's a breakdown. So final demand increased 0.7% on the month in February after 0.5% in January. Again, 0.7% over the month in February after 0.5% in February. Now remember, this is for March data. This is for March data, guys. Final demand goods rose 1.1%. So the March rise in final demand can be attributed to a 1.6% advance in the index for final demand goods. Prices for final demand services. The March rise in final demand prices, 1.6% advance in the index. Final goods, core final demand increased 0.2% in March after climbing 0.5% in February and January. For the 12 months ending in March, 3.6%. 3.6%. The NASDAQ honestly reacting really negatively to this report. Really negatively to this report. Yeah, guys. So again, way lower than expected. The NASDAQ, honestly, is this a buy opportunity here? I might buy this up. I might buy this up, guys. So let me see. Let me pull up my actual account here. I might buy this up. What do you guys think? Should I buy this up right here? Should I buy this up? I'm going to pull up my TradeAvate account, and I might buy this dip here. We had lower than expected inflation data. We also have... yeah, hold on. I'm going to buy this right here. I know this might be a little bit greedy. We are well past the deadline here. I'm in this right now. So, again, final demand only up 0.5%. They expected 1.1% year over year. So, services did the heavy lifting. The biggest jump since July of 2025. Trade margins jumped up 2.5%. Professional and commercial equipment wholesaling margins up 14.4%. Energy dropped 2.7%. Foods fell 1.5%. So goods went the other way. The print captured a moment. Hold on. Yeah, interesting here. All right, so I'm in this trade. We are down. I might add a little bit to this here as well. Interesting. Yeah, so again, guys, look at this. Again, I bought this dip. I'm going to wait here and take a risk in this account. 3.2, 2.4. Ah, okay. Here. Yeah, so again, we're going to keep digging here, but man, I'm optimistic in a buy here, right? I think that makes sense. We're in this. Let's see if it holds. But I'm optimistic in a buy right now. I think market's initially reacting negatively to much lower than expected PPI. Could be an optimistic thing here. Let's see if we jump up. So we're actually green in this trade now. I'm expecting us to jump up. Again, the year over year was what was year over year? Year over year was 4%. 4%, which matches. This is the largest 12-month advance since 4.7% in February of 2023. Core actually cooled from 0.5%. Core year over year 3.6%, tied for the largest advance since November. Gasoline was up 15.7%, nearly half of all goods. Diesel fuel up 42%. And so markets are still down, but I might buy this here still. Services was 0%. The Fed cares about services more than goods, so it might be a dovish thing actually here. Core PPI cooled to 0.2%. Interesting here. So I'm in this long. What do you guys think here? So I am in this long. Should I add more to this, guys? What do you guys think? But again, some of the scary data releases here from this report. Let me show you guys some of the scary prints here. So there are some scary signs in this PPI report, even with me buying the dip here. Maybe it's a little risky. So look, here's some scary prints. Gasoline jumped 15.7%, nearly half of all goods PPI. Diesel fuel jumped 42%. Jet fuel, home heating is also up. Crude petroleum also rising. Intermediate demand shows oil cascading into consumers. 12-month processed goods for immediate demand 2.6%, which is the biggest since May of 2022. Yeah, so people are worried CPI is going to continue to see swings. I'm in this long, but again, we could just take a risk here. And I'm going to add some. We're in 6 contracts. I'm not going to add any more to this, though. We're going to see if we jump from this report, although we do see gas prices rising here. I will cut this if it goes against me here, but we are in this trade right now. Again, oil is actually falling down simultaneously, though, which is interesting. But we are in this trade right now. We'll see if this actually holds. We are long here, guys. But again, data was actually much lower than expected. Much lower than expected. Expected 1.1%. We ended up showing up at, again, 0.5%. Lower than expected here. Lower than expected. I mean, markets reacted. It just wasn't a crazy big reaction here. Yeah, so PPI cools is the story here. PPI much lower than expected, but man, services PPI was 0%. That's a little bit better. It's a little dovish. Core PPI cooled to 0.1% for core. So core PPI showed up at 0.1% month over month. Suspicious? Yeah, it might be. I'll put this data up on the bottom of the screen, but man, I could say it's a suspicious data as well, to be honest, because much lower than expected here. Again, I'm in this long. Oil still jumped up by a big margin, though, to be honest here. So oil did jump. Don't get it twisted. Oil did pop. Yeah, so again, oil did pop. I'm long, though. I'm long. Is this a risky long? Put yes or no in chat right now. Yeah, is this a risky long? Let me know. I think it is, of course. But listen, it's PPI day. We might as well take a little bit of a risk. Inflation is incoming. I'm in this long right now. Again, I'm in this long. I'm hoping we get a pop. Again, Kevin Walsh confirmation hearing for Fed chair will be next Tuesday, April 21st, according to Punchbowl. So we are now green in this trade. We are now green in this trade. Should we exit the trade here, guys? Again, PPI inflation did cool a little bit. I am in this long. Will this trade work out for me? I love you. I beat Maddie blindfolded the other day at ping pong. It's true. It's true.
With your big toe.
Right. All right, I'm going to take at least a third of this position off. Just small. We'll lock in some profit here. Let's see if it holds. Green is good. Green is good. Marvell's moving again. Yeah. Again, PPI data is out today, guys. So PPI data is out. I should have guessed PPI with my blindfolded. I think I would have gotten it right. Again, wholesale price is up 4%. I love you, dude. Have a good day, bud. Again, PPI rises 4% year over year. Highest since February of 2023. Core PPI unchanged at point. Wait. Yeah, core PPI stayed the same, I think, year over year. Let me make sure. No, core PPI jumped up. Oh, no, core PPI stayed the same at 3.8%. So, again, PPI did show up much lower than expected at 0.5%. I'll put this up on the bottom of the screen here. We are green in this trade, though. I'm going to take a little bit more off right now, and then we'll hold on to just a piece of this here. But the trade idea worked. But again, look at this jump. So we are green on this trade. Buying the dip after PPI data did work here. So again, PPI is out. It showed up at 0.5%. 0.5%. Much lower than the 1.1% expected here. You love to see this, though. Look at us green. I think I'm just going to let this ride here, guys. What do you guys think? Should I let this ride right now in terms of PPI inflation data? Should I let this ride? I'm also going to put a banner up at the bottom of the screen detailing what PPI was. But again, it showed up at 0.5%, cooler than the 1.2% expected here. So here's the banner. We'll put that up right now. But yeah, PPI did show up cooler than expected. And that's why I'm buying this, because I think we initially reacted negatively here. And so now we can maybe rebound back up. And we've already taken most of the profit off here. So no matter what, we're not going to lose money on this. But we'll see if we get some continuation in this direction here is what I'm looking for. All right, so there's the banner now at the bottom of the screen. We continue. I can hold the rest of this pretty close to break even now. But PPI report did show up cooler than expected. 1.1 expected. We showed up at 0.5%. But we did see some increases to the price of oil. All right, so PPI did show up at, again, 0.5%. And max, yeah, expectations were 1.1%.
Jesus, look at the chat.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at other news that might be driving markets here, but man. Yeah, apparently at 8 o'clock Central Time, we have the IMF World Economic Outlook. I will be out of this trade by then. I will be out of this trade by then. But again, we'll see what happens. PPI cooled a little bit versus expected numbers, at least. And it was really similar to last time.
So you said you don't necessarily trust the numbers?
Here's the thing about the BLS data. The BLS data has been wildly inconsistent, meaning like, especially jobs. Jobs is the real one that they revise. So inflation data is a little bit more accurate, but the shutdown last year and early this year and then more has kind of skewed some of this stuff, right? So the shutdown has skewed a lot of it. But the BLS has had to do big revisions in the jobs data that they've been pushing out. So basically, they'll show a really strong jobs report, and then later on down the road, they'll revise it down to show much weaker numbers than they originally reported, right? They don't do it as much with CPI, though. They do not do it as much with CPI. But it's created this dynamic in which people do not trust the Bureau of Labor Statistics data because of that dynamic. And again, I've seen it firsthand. We cover all the economic reports. The jobs data has been weak. It has been sketchy. It has been weak. I'm not even, like the jobs data has been weak to a certain extent.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I mean, I really only started paying attention to jobs numbers around 2018, 2019 or whatever. But I did notice that like almost every monthly job report from that period, most of them got cut in half from what I saw.
Right. No, for sure, 100%. Yeah, they haven't been as good. They haven't been as good. And even of this data that we just showed right now, right, they revised the last PPI down. So they showed, and the last one was high, right? Like the previous numbers they revised down. Now they're showing 0.3% last time. I think originally core, what did they show last time? Let me see if I can still catch it on Market Watch. Yeah, last core was 0.5%. They revised it down as well. So they're saying the previous one was less than expected now too. Or the previous one was less than originally reported. Last one showed up at 0.5. They revised it down to 0.3 now for core. Headline, the last one they showed up was 0.5 as well. And this one showed up at 0.5. So we're basically flat. But headline last time, if we look at their numbers here as well, yeah, it was 0.5. So they revised the previous one down. Now, again, lower inflation data is generally good. That's why we bought this. But again, we've scaled out of most of this position here. So we have scaled out of most of this position. We did originally break highs of the day into this report. So we did jump up to 25,700 plus now on this report. But then we kind of faded back down and we bought the dip here. So we are in this long now. We only have a couple contracts left. We've already taken profit. But we are in this long. And yeah, we'll see what happens. I ended up buying this dip. I'm not going to, people are saying full port into it. I'm not going to full port into this, but we did buy the dip here. Yeah, so we'll see what happens if Kevin Warsh gets confirmed as the Fed chairman next month, apparently. So we'll see what that looks like. Also, guys, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, stick around. We'll see what happens with markets, but PPI data did cool a little bit here. So we did have cooling in PPI. I might buy this dip again and then hold it break even. If I do buy it, it should be right here.
If he does get confirmed, which, I mean, do you consider his confirmation pretty likely?
Well, at this point, it's scheduled. And I think it probably has to do with, oh, I'm going to drop this. So we are getting a negative reaction here. Look at this drop that we're seeing in markets right now. Oil is not really moving here, but look at, we did get a little drop in markets. We are green on the day, though, but I don't trust it as much. I think people might still be nervous about oil. But I think if we do get a deal done with Iran sometime soon, and I'm not saying we do, but there's optimism around that potential deal, Maybe markets will continue to react well. Yesterday, markets went up by a pretty big margin. Like a lot of stocks flew yesterday. So we'll see if that dynamic continues. Yeah, talks are being held this week. Yeah, they're back on the table. Talks are back on the table for sure. So we'll see if we get more talks in here. But I am long right now here with 8 contracts. I just want to see if this volume profile we got to push up to like here, 80. Little scalp.
Yeah, this whole process with Iran has been a real roller coaster.
No, for sure, 100%. Yeah, it has. The whole thing has just been kind of volatile.
It's weird. I didn't expect that it would be, but it's honestly been a little bit emotionally taxing.
This is my life, Brett. This is my life, dude. Yeah, I gotta follow it all the time. It can get just stressful to follow for sure. And it goes back and forth. Like it's been whipping back and forth. Like, oh, everybody's excited. Oh, everybody's scared. Everybody's excited. I'm gonna take half off here. Oh, everybody's scared again. You know, it's kind of like we go up one day, and then the next day they're like, oh no, we suck again, and then we come back down. You know, I'm gonna take a little bit more off of here. Actually, no, I'm gonna wait.
Every time I hear that, I just hear Rob Schneider. Oh no, we suck again.
Yeah, that's right. Are you guys bullish or bearish for the rest of the day here? What do you guys think? Do we go up or down now for the rest of the day? PPI inflation data did cool some. It was much lower than expected here. I want good news. Yeah, I mean, I think PPI is optimistic. You could argue that, you know, oil is still elevated, which is true. Oil is still elevated. But I think it's more optimistic than people expected it to be. If we look at the poll, 57% said PPI shows up higher than expected. I'm going to end this poll now. But most people expected it to show up higher than expected. There we go. I'm going to take a little bit more off here and just lock some profit in. With today's, again, with today's lower than expected PPI print, are you bullish or bearish today for the open? I'm going to get bull bear and then a neutral option here. Again, there's the options right now. Bull, bear, or neutral. Let me know. I am green on my trade right now. We ended up buying this dip here, but again, we've scaled out of most of it.
I'm going bull.
You're bull? Okay.
Yeah.
Bull's better than, you know, neutral.
I know nobody asked. And I'm making a rather uninformed guess, probably, but I'd like to err on the side of optimism, you know?
Yeah, no, that's kind of how I am too. And what you learn really quickly is that the bears wildly overpredict bearish action. You know, like bears overpredict crashes, unfortunately. Like if you ask a bearish trader randomly any week of the month, market's about to crash, right? And that's not objectively, that's not the right position to take. Most of the time markets go up, you know, trading against that dynamic here. I'm not saying once every blue moon we don't have big corrections, we don't have crashes, we don't have pullbacks, but it's much more rare than upward bullish price action. I know a lot of day traders that will only take the long side because they understand that the market pushing up is much more probable than the market pushing down. All right, we're going to liquidate a little bit more here because I'm starting to see some volatility in this candle. This candle's kind of whipping back and forth, but we are scaling out of this position here. And I can hold the rest pretty close to break even now.
I'm curious at what point the bearishness becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like, I mean, at some point, you know, you thinking the market's going to go down. I mean, when you have enough people believing that, the market goes down, right? Yeah,
I just covered this position. Yeah, but and fear and worry are big things, right? They are big things. It's just, it is one of those situations, though, where most of the time we do not show bearishness. Like most of the time the market pushes up, and if you trade against that dynamic, I'm not saying there's not good times where you should be bearish in the market, but I've said it once and I'll say it again. Shorting the healthiest assets in the world is not a business I want to be in, right? Like even if there is some edge, it's just not a business I want to be in. Not for moral reasons. I don't care about moral reasons. I don't think you can be a moral investor or trader. I think you got to buy what makes money and sell what doesn't make money, right? But just in terms of, statistical edge, swing trading and investing on the long side makes more sense than the downside. You know, I'm not saying there's some companies that you could short, and I've been pretty vocal about the ones I didn't like over the last few years. Lululemon is one of them. You know, I didn't like Lululemon, and it dropped a lot. There's a couple different stocks that I did not like over the last few years. Beyond Meat was another one. BYND. I thought it was a terrible company. Just I didn't like it at all. Vegans,
Yeah, the
too
product
health.
just doesn't turn me on.
Right, vegans are too health conscious. I've said it once. I've said this argument like probably 1,000 times on the stream. But vegans do not. Impossible Burgers at Burger King, dude. Vegans do not want to eat at Burger King, bro. They're too health conscious for that. And so Beyond Meat, Impossible, I'm not investing in those. They just don't make. I don't think they have a big enough customer base to make it interesting for me. So there's a couple companies where you can isolate them and find some good downside, but most of the time markets in general are going to push up. So I did see news just now that says ship testing the U.S. Hormuz blockade appears to U-turn according to reports. So a ship tested the blockade apparently, but it did a U-turn apparently now as well.
It didn't pass the test.
Right. It had to reverse, you know. It did reverse here, but
So did Lululemon basically did the price drop out pretty hard after the shutdowns were kind of gone?
I think it was more. I think it's more fashion and trends with Lululemon. Lululemon dropped. Okay, Nasdaq. Hold on, real quick. Nasdaq is starting to turn down, and oil is starting to spike real quick here, guys. So here's oil. Here's the Nasdaq. Nasdaq is falling down as we speak. Look at this drop in Nasdaq here. So I'm trying to see what's going on. Again, all I see is that the ship testing the U.S. Hormuz blockade appears to do a U-turn. That's the only recent news catalyst that I'm getting here. Again, ship testing Hormuz appears to do a U-turn according to recent reports and news catalysts coming out. So we'll put this up. You can read it right here. This is the breaking news that might be influencing the price of oil. Yeah, the issue is, number one, it's competition. I see some people mentioning that. Everybody makes clothes like Lululemon does. It's also a trend change in fashion. Again, each generation of kids that sprout up, they don't want to wear what their parents wear, unless we're talking about the 90s dynamic right now. But the point is, trends change, fashion changes. Lululemon is almost pure like athleisure wear, like leisure athletics. You know, when everybody was stuck at home and wearing sweatpants and yoga pants around, it made sense, right? But that dynamic is changing, and so people are less interested in Lululemon. You see it reflected in their price. Nasdaq is still dropping down. We're at 25,600s. Maybe it's gonna do a donut. I like donuts. All right, guys, here we go. 30 minutes until the opening bell. Yeah, again,
I
like
agree
I
with
said,
you.
yeah.
No, good.
I was gonna say, I've gotten past the age where I need to be trendy now. Like, I don't care about being trendy, dude. You know what's funny is, like, back in the day, I used to make fun of people that only wore the fashion that they grew up with. Like, you meet people in, like, the 2000s that still dress like they're in the 80s. And I used to make fun of that. Now, I kind of get it, bro. I kind of get it.
Well, you wear what you're comfortable with.
Right, exactly. And I'm getting too old to try to be fashionable as well. Right, like you get like these 30 or 40-year-olds that are still really trying to be fashionable. And I'm not hating on you, I'm not. But I'm not going to chase that anymore. Like, it gets to a point where you're like, all right, you've seen it. Once you've seen the cycle go all the way back around, you're like, all right, like we've been here before. I'm not doing it again.
Also, if you look at people who are, you know, quote unquote trendsetters, whatever. I mean, realistically, you can be fashionable in whatever you wear. It's about having confidence in what you're wearing and being comfortable in what you're wearing. I mean, that's really what sets trends.
Right. Yeah, give me a Nike t-shirt. I'm wearing that most of the time. Nike or Under Armour t-shirt and jeans.
Yeah, me too, mostly. Just jeans and t-shirts. I very rarely wear polos and things like that unless I'm going to like a slightly nicer restaurant than I normally go to.
Yeah, that's right. Fashion tips, you caught it here first at Beginner Trading, guys. You're welcome. You know, we're giving you what you need to hear today. Nasdaq, again, at 25,600s. I got into one good trade. We're going to see if we can keep this going here. Also, guys, if you have not already, check out Take Profit Trader. Take Profit Trader has some of the best accounts for beginners. Some of the least restrictive rules. You can take daily payouts with Take Profit Trader. And they've just got some really good stuff. Really good stuff. Again, look, here's Take Profit Trader. Again, some of the best rules for traders. shameless plug here, shameless plug. A lot of reasonable rules. You get a pro account in 5 days. 0 days till your first withdrawal minimum. Withdrawal process is immediate. Just really good rules for beginners, guys. Really good rules for beginners. If you use my coupon code, you get the max discount BGT. I will put the link up here for Take Profit. Again, great rules for beginners. Great rules for beginners. You get 40% off. There's no activation fee as well on Take Profit. So if you want to check them out, I'll put this link up. There it is. Coupon code BGT at checkout will get you the max discount. Great way to help support the channel here, guys. Shameless plug here, shameless plug. They are an affiliate of mine. I am biased because I get paid by them. Real quick, guys, listen. Chat, I'm going to make myself big here just so you guys can really understand how important this is. You guys have a chance to redeem yourself. All right. Should I buy the NASDAQ right here? Should I buy the NASDAQ, guys? Let me know. Yes or no in chat right now. Should I buy the NASDAQ here? Should I buy it right here, guys?
I think if they're wrong again, we can't trust them anymore. Or you can't. I mean, like, there's no trust for me, but...
Should I buy the NASDAQ here, guys? Let me know. No. Wait for the hour candle. John is peering into my room right now. No. Yes. Yes. We're seeing more yeses than the other day for sure here today. We're seeing more yeses than the other day.
What's your inclination?
If you guys are wrong, you will never hear the end of this, okay? You'll never hear the end of this. You know, for centuries, they'll talk about you guys as missed call here. All right? But I did buy it here, guys. Look, I did buy it here. That's why I asked you guys. I did buy it here. Let's see what happens. I believe in you guys, all right? I believe in the yeses. All right? We are in this trade now. Let's see what we get. Stay bearish, friend. Bruce. My jiu-jitsu friend, man. You're supposed to be on my team here, brother. Bulls only today. Bulls only. So far, you guys are right. The Bulls are right. The Bears are wrong. I'll never trust the Bears again. You know?
Bears.
Yeah. If we reverse, I won't even mention it, though. You guys are still wrong.
You're just not going to give credit, huh?
I refuse to credit Bears. We are agreed here. It's a very small trade, though, but we got a cushion at the very least now, so we can let this work here some more. Let's see what happens here, chat. Let's see what happens. But I believe in you guys. I believe y'all could be right here today. You know, you can get one pick right. You don't have the best track record. Look, all I know is that every time I want to buy, I should just buy it. I shouldn't even ask the chat.
Well, you know, at some point or another, I mean, like, luck has to be on your side. You got to get one right by accident, huh?
Look, here's the 9 o'clock scrum here. I'm going to take one off here and just protect the trade and just let it work. We've already got a pretty decent cushion now. I might add to it if we go more. 9 o'clock could cause some volatility is what the worry is here. But it's looking bullish. And I think PPI inflation data was a little bullish here as well. Lower than, you know, showing up about half of what was expected for inflation data is generally good. Now, there were some increases to oil and stuff, but I think that was expected overall. And we don't see much pass-through effects of secondary effects on oil is what I'm showing here. And so here's the 9 a.m. move. Let's see if we end up holding now. Here's the 9 o'clock move. I need to take larger size here, but we already have a pretty decent cushion on the day. Your head is big. You know there's a correlation with head size and intelligence, right? Biggest correlation ever.
That actually is true. Also makes you harder to knock out, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah.
That explains things.
Well, there's more room in your brain casing for your brain to move around without actually making contact with the inside of your skull and becoming concussed.
Okay.
That's why Chris Liebman was so hard to knock out. He had a huge hit.
Yeah. No, that's true. All right, I'm going to cut this flat now, guys. I'm going to cut this flat. We're out flat. We made money on the trade, but now we're out flat. All right.
I knew you could do it.
Yeah, we made money. That's just good. Small, but good nonetheless. We'll trade a little bit larger as we go into the opening bell. But we got a pretty big cushion on this account of the day. I might buy this pullback here as well. If we're right, you'll never hear the end of it, John. That's fair. I will accept that. Yeah, but again, we saw a ship testing the U.S. Hormuz blockade appears to U-turn. The question is that good or bad? Right? That means it could... I don't know. I think markets are interpreting it as negative. So the IMF World Economy Outlook is this. So the IMF World Economy Outlook data just dropped. They said, assuming that the conflict remains limited in duration and scope, global growth is projected to slow to 3.1% this year in 2026 and 3.2% in 2027. Downside risks dominate the outlook, though, according to the IMF. So the IMF did publish their World Economy Outlook just now. And this is what they said right here. So this is what they said right here. You can read it right here. Honestly, the NASDAQ still is pretty choppy and sideways. But PPI inflation data did cool a little bit.
I wonder what a healthy global growth rate is.
Yeah, I don't know, honestly.
Yeah, no, I mean, I wasn't actually asking you. I was literally just musing aloud.
Oh, a healthy global growth rate? Sorry.
If it's expected at 3 point, whatever you said, 3.2% or whatever, I mean, is that good, bad? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, this is effectively like world GDP. And so you got to look at it in that context. So it's probably similar to what's good in the U.S. Good in the U.S. is like, what, like 3 to 4%? And so, but there's uncertain outlook here. There's uncertain outlook.
Yeah.
Look at oil fall. So oil down to 95.70s again, but a lot of stuff really is in a choppy range. And the good thing about ranges is we do have something to play off of. But look at this oil candle that just showed up in markets, guys. Look at oil. Look at oil. Oil did just dip here, guys. So look at oil. Let's see if this holds. But man, oil continuing to dip here now, guys. So oil continuing to fall. I'm trying to see if there's any breaking news that would cause this. But oil.
Maybe that ship turned around again.
Yeah, it could be the MF cutting global growth outlook warns of higher inflation risks. Again, U.S. growth is seen at 2.3 versus 2.4% prior. We're going to start posting some of these in chat right now. Again, here's U.S. growth at the bottom of the screen. But honestly, I think we're still in a range. The NASDAQ didn't jump. So oil fell to 95.60s and then it jumped all the way back up to 96s here. So it looked bad and then it rebounded all the way back up. I believe the bears were correct. Well, honestly, I don't think anybody's really correct right now. I made money on the long side. But we have a very small range here right now. So this is a pretty tight range here. Like this range has been holding here. So I wouldn't say anybody's right yet. Anybody's right yet. We'll see what the opening bell brings, though. And we would be day trading live, of course, at the opening bell. But, yeah, we'll see what the opening bell brings. Also, guys, check out Tradeify. Tradeify, honestly, I didn't even know this, but Tradeify has one of the cheapest direct-to-funded accounts in the game for Tradeify. So Tradeify, to get funded on their base one, direct to funded. Look at this. It's like $207 right now for Tradeify. So Tradeify's got some great stuff that they're doing here. Look at Izzy, my guy. His chin's going though. But still, check out Tradeify nonetheless. If you go to Lightning Funded, $207 one-time fee. If you use my coupon code BGT, that is at checkout. $207 one-time fee for Lightning Funded here. So some of the cheapest direct-to-funded accounts in the game for Tradeify. So they're really useful as well here. Got some other great stuff too. And Tradeify's been around, for a while as well. So if you want to check out Tradeify again, you can use my coupon code BGT at checkout. They are a sponsor or affiliate of mine, I should say. But a great way to help support your boy here in this channel. Check them out right here. I appreciate it. Yeah, NASDAQ's still very flat, although oil is popping back higher here. Oil is now over $96 a barrel for Brent crude. Or not Brent, I'm sorry, for WTI crude. RTX also just signed a $3.7 billion contract to supply Patriot missiles to Ukraine. So interesting here. Interesting. Yeah, so PPI data is out today, guys.
I was gonna ask, how's gold tracking with the dip in oil?
Gold, I'm guessing, has gone up today. Yeah, gold is green with macro markets right now. It's at about $4,800 a barrel. I'm just gonna put this out here though, guys. Look, I hate to do this to you guys, chat. I hate to do this, okay? But chat, you guys told me to short. Some of you guys did. Here. Look at this. I'm gonna blame you guys for me exiting the trade. I got out early, and it's your fault, chat. You know.
Again.
It's your fault right now. I'm blaming you guys here.
I don't know why the childish. I mean, like, I know you can't write any better than that on a computer screen, but like the childish type handwriting just makes it funnier.
Dude, don't inside my dude. I think it's great. I think it's great. You know.
Someone says Izzy needs to retire. I think Izzy should retire too, personally. I've never really been a fan of his style personally, but I think he's taking too many shots on the chin at this point.
He's chinny lately for sure. Your chin starts to go what, like 34s, 35s, and that's about the age he's at now. He's been in some battles too. Really, Strickland took his chin out, if you look at it. So Strickland took his chin out.
A lot of volume.
Now, yeah, I mean, yeah. It wasn't the one shot that did it. It was the follow-through shots that just, you know.
So does age at that point really affect your chin, or is it just the punishment you've taken throughout the course of your career?
It's a little bit of both, but you do have outliers, right? Like, you got some people that just maintain. It's usually the heavyweights that maintain a pretty solid chin, even though they're much older. So it's a little bit of both, but it's definitely age to a certain extent, as well as just the battles you've been in, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dominic Reyes, he's getting old too. Walker, I don't want Walker to retire. He's fun to watch. I mean, his chin's shot too, but
It's a style though, yeah.
yeah.
I think Derek Lewis honestly probably ought to retire too.
No, dude, I don't let Derek retire, bro. I want to see
I
Derek.
love him, dude. I don't think his prospects are promising.
Yeah, maybe. Here, it's time to make myself smaller again. I just wanted to bring attention to the wrong nature of the chat.
Don't hate, John.
Appreciate. I know I should. Do you guys want to do a giveaway today? I guess we could. We'll do a Lucid giveaway today. All right, here we go. We're not doing the Lucid. We're not doing the Lucid giveaway now, but I did not tell you to short that. Is it Steve's fault? Look, here's Steve. Oh, y'all can't see Steve right now. I got the green screen going. When in doubt, blame Steve. I get it. Steve's the guy to blame. Yeah, way too many fights for sure. Fimi, I agree with you, brother. Way too many fights. Yeah, coupon code BGT.
Yeah.
All right, so Treasury Secretary Bassett just spoke. He said that the U.S. agenda for the G20 this year is growth. Growth. So Bassett is speaking right now. I'm looking at other breaking news here that might influence the price here, but we are going to watch this. If the chat short turns the other way, that's okay. You know? Yeah, we'll do a Lucid giveaway later. Not Lucid cars. Lucid cars are cool.
A car giveaway.
I was talking to my father-in-law. Like, I grew up on import culture, right? Like, I grew up, like, again, a friend of mine had a Type R. I had some cool cars that were JDM. I'm not going to be specific about what kind of cars I had. I had some cool cars that were JDM. I love JDM. I love Tudor culture, right? I always wanted a Subaru WRX STI because it ran like 12 something stock. And that was very quick for me. Very quick for me. Like a stock 12.5-second car. Crazy fast at the time. Crazy fast. The issue now is that we've moved on to an age in which almost any EV out there will absolutely smoke a Subaru WRX STI. Any EV out there. Again, the Tesla Plaid does 9.2 seconds stock. It does like 2 seconds 0 to 60. You can't beat that with the internal combustion engine. You can't beat that.
No, that's like a slower Hayabusa time.
Right, that's like a freaking drag car, And how fast it gets off the ground is crazy. You can't beat it. You just can't beat it. Again, with ICEs, you're gonna peel out a lot more too. It's just, And then if you strip them down.
Have you driven an EV?
No.
I never have either, but like I've heard the comparison made, like basically if you've ever driven a golf cart, that's the type of acceleration. I mean, much faster, but that style of acceleration, it just jerks off the line.
Right, for sure, 100%. Yeah, JDM forever. That's right. They all do, Jono. They all get beat by Teslas, to be honest. Tesla Plaid. I was showing by like a Cyber Beast. So the Cybertruck will run like 10.8 quarter mile. A Cybertruck, 10.8. Imagine having like a really small supercar, and then a Cybertruck, big, heavy, smokes you quarter mile.
Aren't those things like 6,000 pounds or 6,500 pounds?
Yes, they're heavy, very heavy.
I thought so. And like I know that. Okay, if the technology becomes more efficient and all that, like EV is eventually going to be the way to go. But I don't know, man. It's kind of like with Harley Davidsons. There's just something like a special affinity I have for like the V8 sound and feel, like just the feel of a gas engine.
No, 100%. One of my cars, I'm not going to be specific, is V8 twin turbo, right? And that thing sounds very, very good, very, very good. And I would miss that sound driving an EV.
Yeah. By the way, I'm going to drive it next time we hang out.
Yeah, we'll see, $100. No.
I'll give you $100.
No, I'm just joking. NASDAQ pushing up. We're at 670s right now, 670s. Let's see if it holds, guys. Let's see if it holds. Again, the chat called the bottom. In-person talks between the U.S. and Iran could resume as early as next week, according to NBC News. So again, here's some news that is just breaking here. The U.S. asked Iran during marathon talks over the weekend for a 20-year suspension of uranium enrichment. The Iranians agreed to 2 to 5 years, which the president has said is not acceptable, according to a source. This is a source telling us this. The U.S. asked Iran to remove the highly enriched uranium from the country, but Iran agreed to a, quote, monitored process of downblending, a process where highly enriched uranium is mixed with natty gas and less potent uranium to create less potent material, according to NBC. And so I don't know if this is the news popping markets higher here, but this news just dropped. Again, I'm going to restate this. In-person talks between the U.S. and Iran could resume as early as this week, according to NBC News. The U.S. asked Iran during the marathon talks over the weekend for a 20-year suspension of uranium enrichment. They agreed to 2 to 5 years instead, which the president said is not acceptable, according to this source. The U.S. asked them to remove highly enriched uranium from the country, but they agreed to a, quote, monitored process of downblending, a process where highly enriched uranium is mixed with natty gas, or with natural or less potent, not natty gas, natural or less potent uranium to create a less potent material, end quote, according to NBC News. So the issue I have with this quote is that this is basically the talking points prior to this conflict starting. When the U.S. met with Iran prior to March, prior to this conflict starting, this was basically both of their arguments. The U.S. said, hey, you can't enrich. Iran said, hey, we're going to, but you can babysit us. Very similar to what they're saying now, right? And so I do not see a change in either side's argument here is the problem that I have with this quote. Markets are obviously interpreting this as bullish. You can see the NASDAQ start to push up here leading into the opening bell. But that is my issue with these quotes, is that this sounds very, very similar to what they were saying prior to this conflict starting. And so, yeah, we'll see what happens here. But
I agree with you. And also, you just kind of have to think about the fact that this was the arrangement that we've had for basically 15, 16, 17 years now, something like that. And sure, they didn't honor it last time. So, I mean, it
right. No, 100%.
Just doesn't smell right to me.
Yeah, no, 100%. NASDAQ is interpreting this as bullish though. But again, this was from NBC. And so we'll see if this is true. I at the very least, I think what it does show is that both sides are willing to talk to the other one. So we'll see if this continues the bullishness into the opening bell. The chat did it again. They called the short, or they called the bottom here. And again, here's another quote, according to Fox. A U.S. senior official says, quote, "A lot is happening today and tomorrow in the U.S. and Iran have all the ingredients for a deal, but it is not there yet," end quote. So, yeah, optimism is showing up, though, in markets. The NASDAQ is rising here. We can see the price of oil here. And oil's dipping down a little bit to test these lows. So oil's falling. And the NASDAQ is pushing higher.
I'm just curious as to what the middle ground will even look like in this whole situation.
Sure. Yeah. No, I agree. I think a middle ground would be like, hey, 10 years no enrichment. Yeah, like 10 years no enrichment or something like that. And you know, that's what I think here. I don't know for sure, but that's what I think. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
something like that, right? Like we want, what did they say? 20 years? Let me see. Yeah. So the U.S. asked for 20-year suspension of enrichment. Iranians agreed to 2 to 5. A compromise would be somewhere in the middle, about 10, I'm guessing. And again, markets are digesting this as bullish here. Look at oil dip. Oil's down to 95.60s. NASDAQ is up to 25.680s here. So we are bullish from this. And we'll see if it holds. But so far, NASDAQ markets are digesting this as a bullish thing. We'll see if it continues, but NASDAQ's pushing higher here. Again, here's the chats. Short. This is even worse than before. You'll never hear the end of this, guys. Middle ground would be they keep enriched uranium, but no processing for 10 years. Yeah, but I don't know if we're going to go with that. Them keeping enriched uranium should be the deal breaker.
Maybe if they go through the dilution process, which honestly I didn't even know that was a thing, but I guess it kind of makes sense. But no, I mean I don't think that our position is one where we can
dictate.
I don't think they're gonna allow for them to sit on 60% enriched uranium. I just don't think they're gonna allow it.
Yeah, that's what I think as well. I think that's where we draw the line for this. And I'm not saying I agree or disagree. I'm just saying I think that's where we draw the line for this.
Well, especially when for nuclear energy purposes, you only need I think it's 3.6% enriched uranium.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think we're gonna draw the line there. And so we'll see something maybe like 10 years no enrichment is what I think potentially is what we might get. But who knows? What do you guys think? Do markets continue to react well? Let's look at our poll here. So our poll said 51% bullish, 35% bearish, 14% neutral.
I think you're probably right about the potential state of the agreement, especially considering that one of the offers we've already made is to give them spent fuel rods for energy purposes.
Sure. Right, exactly. All right, guys, so we are dipping down. Meta executive says Meta compute unit is trying to think carefully about investment of almost $600 billion that the company is deploying over the next few years. Yeah, we'll see.
We'll be back in just a second.
Okay. Do I buy this dip here? Should I buy this dip, guys? Also, give me a follow at x.com at Beginner Trades here. At Beginner Trades. The IMF chief is still speaking. He said countries need to diversify their sources of energy to domestic supplies and renewables. Bassett said World Bank has now embraced nuclear energy. IMF chief economist says central banks need to be attractive to signs of wage price spiral. Nothing else really market moving. The question is, do I buy this dip now? I don't think we've had a losing trade yet today. And then we have a cushion on this account. So I think, actually, look at this drop right now. Brit left. I think this is his fault. Look at this red candle showing up in markets right now, guys. NASDAQ, the chat has a potential to redeem themselves here. Something's going on. Let me see if I can find it. Is oil moving down too? Or oil's moving up slightly here.
I'm back. What I miss?
When you left, the market dropped, Brit. I blame you.
It's all me.
Look at the NASDAQ, though. It really did drop. I don't see any reason for this, though. Do you guys see any reason? Any reasonable reason?
I think it might be like an intentional counter or something.
Yeah, I mean, we have 8 minutes into the open. That's the largest red candle we've had really since the 8:30 PPI report. I'm checking up on other breaking news. I don't see anything yet, though. We're kind of back in that high volume area of the volume profile as well. Seems like the market just feels like going down today. Nothing but good news, but still. Yeah, it could be the IMF guy's quotes here. He said if the conflict were to stop today, oil shortage for the year is comparable to the 1970s oil shock from an annual volume basis. That's bad because the 1970 oil shock was rough. IMF member did say Chinese forecast is partly based on strong momentum from last year and lower U.S. tariffs. All right, we had the Iranian ambassador to Pakistan saying, quote, imposing naval blockade is an illegal and provocative act, a reckless step aimed at saving face. Yeah, the IMF member said in 1970 central banks were more focused on supporting activity than price stability. The lesson from the 1970s, you don't want an energy shock to turn into an ongoing inflation problem. But I think these maybe it's the Iranian ambassador to Pakistan's quotes. Again, he said, quote, imposing a naval blockade is an illegal and provocative act, a reckless step at saving face. So maybe that's what this is, but who knows? Again, chat, y'all called the bottom again, dude. We have not broken. Since I asked you guys if you should buy or sell, you know, listen, to the guys who said buy, to the ladies and gentlemen that said buy right here, y'all are made men now. Y'all are made men now. Made men and women. To the short pushers, dead to me. All right. That is now the low of the last hour. Blocking our blockade is illegal. Yeah, basically. Yeah, happy birthday to whoever's birthday it is today. Shout out to you. Happy birthday people.
Happy birthday, whoever.
Yeah, I don't know who they're telling that to. But happy birthday, guys. It's not my birthday for sure.
Nor mine.
Way to go, chat. Honestly, the chat might be looking right here. Should I short under the chat's level?
Blocking our block.
JEP, is it your birthday? If it is, happy birthday to you, sir.
Yeah, I think we're basically doing to them what like the Romans did to Vercingetorix. I don't know if anybody in here's a history buff, but
explain it to us, Britt.
I mean, I don't have all the details down, but essentially, Vercingetorix was had a certain number of Roman troops trapped inside of a fort, or for lack of a better term, and in order to counter him, reinforcements basically came in and snuck out of the encampment, and then built a secondary wall around them, and basically like, okay, you want to trap us? We're going to trap you in here with us.
Interesting. Yeah. Here, guys. We just broke under the chat short idea, so maybe it's time for me to short. If we get a little bounce back, I actually will short this. How much time we have left? Ooh, we got 4 minutes. You know what? I'll take it. Little baby short, though. We're not going to hold this very long. It's small. Opening bell's almost here, guys. We have 3.5 minutes left. Short is right, though. Chat, so far, you've redeemed yourself here. Okay. Y'all are all made men now, and women. Actually, wait. 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 We're retesting the 200 exponential. I should have known I shouldn't have followed you guys.
Are you going to give him another chance after this? That's like 3 times in a row.
No, they're actually right. Look, we're actually breaking down. I'm going to take a little bit off here. Shout out to the chat. Y'all got one right, dude. Y'all got one right.
All right. Well, I'll just eat my words then.
Yeah, Brit. Oh my gosh. Wait, hold up. We just got a pop here. Hold on, wait. I'm going to cut this. Something just happened. Hold on. Okay, chat, never mind. Y'all suck again. Hold on, wait. Yeah, look at that candle here. I think we got out actually green on that trade, but still.
Max says, careful, don't buy at the bell.
Yeah, what happened here, guys? What happened? I'm out. I needed to get out anyway. I think we made money. But, let's see what happens. Look at this green candle here. Yikes. Something just happened, though. Let's see oil. Is oil dipping? We have less than 2 minutes. Oil's not even down much. This could be stock related.
Someone says Nvidia popped.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It could be stock related. That's what makes sense to me. Yeah, Nvidia did jump. This is Nvidia news. That's why, like, you can look at the price of oil to see if it's Middle Eastern stuff going on. It is not. This is just Nvidia jumping up to 191s right now. 191s on Nvidia.
Sakes alive, huh?
Yeah. Nvidia is the most heavily weighted stock in the stock market. So Nvidia going up is going to drag everything else up with it mostly. Not oil, though. That's how you know it's... That's why before I even looked at Nvidia, I was like, hey, this is probably stock related because oil's not falling. All right, here we go, guys. Yeah, it is roller coaster here. Chat, you've gone from terrible to made men and women back to terrible again. I'm
gonna go bullish on the opening bell.
Yeah, you guys bullish or bearish for the open? Nvidia popping here.
Come on, guys, rally behind me. I don't care if you agree or not.
What? There's the open. Look at this bullish action here, guys.
Yes.
Wow. It doesn't mean anything yet. This is just the opening bell. Sometimes the first move is the wrong move. But we do have bullish action at the open. Tesla down. CoreWeave down. Nvidia up. Nvidia's almost up to 192s right now. And that's what's pushing this. Nvidia did tap 192s. It hit 192.40s at the high at the opening bell. And that's why the NASDAQ is going up here. But again, into the opening bell, we do have some bullish action. It's the initial move, though, so we'll see if this holds. But the NASDAQ is jumping up with Nvidia specifically here. Here's Nvidia. Look at this right here, guys. Nvidia jumping up to 192.50s here. 192.50s. Let's see if this continues. I'm not going to buy it yet here. No, I'm not going to buy it yet.
I won't say told you so, but I will say you have great content, bro. Thanks for the love, trades.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Nvidia up to 192.30s here, 192.30s. Tesla up to 358s right now. Tesla's rebounding as well here. Let's see if Nvidia holds. The big question is, does Nvidia hold? That's what's going to influence. Here's the NASDAQ. If Nvidia continues pushing, the NASDAQ should follow it here. And yeah, Nvidia's still pushing. Nvidia's testing highs of the day. New highs of the day on Nvidia, 192.95s right now. 192.95s.
How many people think it's going to hold?
Does this hold, chat? Yes or no? Let me know. Again, we're at 690s right now on the NASDAQ here. We're about a minute and a half. I can't really trade it yet. I have to wait some, but no, it doesn't hold. Meta's turning back down, so Meta under 640s. Tesla's still pushing up. Nvidia doing okay. It's at 192.50s. High of the day or 192.90s for Nvidia, but the NASDAQ looks like it's still resilient here. It's still pushing. Tesla up to 361s. It is a bullish
glass
day.
half full again.
Yeah, Oracle's up a lot. Man, look at the bulls get control at the opening bell here, guys. So the bulls are in control. I have to do this to the chat here. I have to do it.
What are you about to do?
Here it is. The chat's short call. That's it. NASDAQ getting close to the highs of the day. 716 highs of the day from PPI inflation data, and markets originally reacting well to it. It looks like we're going to at least test this level here. Here's that level right here. We just broke highs of the day in the NASDAQ here. New highs of the day are 718 in the NASDAQ. 718. The bulls have gained control so far at the opening bell, about 3 minutes into the open. Nvidia is still pushing higher here. It's at 193.20s right now. 193.20s.
All right, I enjoy that you're being being a little petty with the chat.
Oh, I gotta mess with the chat. It's all love here. I'm just messing with you guys.
Oh, I know that.
There's so much variance. There's so much variance, you know. So like, I'm just messing with it.
I know, and they know that too. I'm sure.
And to their defense, a lot of them were bullish. So, you know.
I'm just gonna pretend I didn't see that though.
Yeah, you know. All right, guys, we have 3.5 minutes into the day. I can almost trade right now. I can almost trade. We're at 192.70 on Nvidia. Here's the NASDAQ pushing it towards highs of the day again here on the NASDAQ, guys. Look at this. Here's high of the day test. We just tapped over it for a second. New high of the day. Look at that break of the highs here. So we did just break highs. New high of the day is 722 on the NQ. 722s now.
I think it's going to keep pushing up.
I don't know. Nvidia just turned a little bit here, though. So Nvidia did just turn. Look at that 1 minute chart on Nvidia. So Nvidia just turned. We'll see if the rest of the market can prop it up. It looks like it is, though. Look at the NASDAQ. Just broke highs of the day again. 722 new high of the day on the NASDAQ. $722 new high of the day on the NASDAQ here.
All
right, we just broke highs of the day again at 727s now on the NQ. The NQ is pushing higher here, guys. 727s now on the NASDAQ. Nvidia dipping down to 192s here. So Nvidia is in the wake of a pullback, but the market's not really following it that closely here. Nvidia just tapped the volume weighted average price as well. But Nvidia has dipped a little bit from its highs. It hit highs at 193.30s. It's at 192.20s right now at the opening bell. PayPal's flying. Okay, NASDAQ just broke highs again. 736s here. 736s.
It's almost as PYPL is fine. What's PYPL?
It's PayPal.
Oh, okay, well, that makes sense. I've just
it's
never looked at it that way.
It's not really flying here, though, for PayPal. Like, it's green on the day, but it's not, like, Oracle's up a lot, right? So if you look at ORCL, Oracle, you could say is flying on the day. Look at the NASDAQ, guys. 750s here. 750s.
What's going on? I mean, is this all just optimism and sentiment?
Yeah, this is just bulls. Bulls have gotten control here. What this means is Mag 7's pushing up, mostly. Let's look at the Dow here as well. The Dow, technically green on the day now. After being red some of the morning. The Dow technically green. Tesla's starting to dip a little bit. A lot of this is related to NVIDIA's push up, though. NVIDIA, the most heavily weighted stock. But it's not just NVIDIA, and NVIDIA's been pulling back for the last 4 or 5 minutes here. Meta's pushing up to 640s, regaining some strength. Apple is up to 260s plus now. So Apple is pushed up at the opening bell. Microsoft, the software company that's been on the wake of a slump, is at 393s, getting close to 400s again. Amazon is up to 245. So Amazon's pushing up since the opening bell. Alphabet is up to 322s. It's up as well. So this is just Mag 7 strength here. If we get a dip down to like 700s, I'll buy it. I need a dip down to like 700s though for me. What do you guys think? What's a pullback level in which you're interested in buying the NASDAQ today? What's your pullback level, guys? I don't see any real news that's pushing things. Tesla up 2.2% since the bell, though, but it did pull back some here. 725. Yeah, I think it's too... You might be right. There's a chance it bounces here for sure, but it's too... There's not enough meat on that move. It's too small of a range here. I mean, I'm a scalper as well, so sometimes I'll take moves like this, but it's just... There's not enough. I would need it down to, like, my earliest entry would be, like, 705, 710s, maybe. So... But again, the bull momentum is definitely there. CoreWeave's pushing up. Meta's ripping up towards highs. Meta's about to break highs of the day here. And you can see NVIDIA, how much it pulled back. Here's Meta. So Meta is all... Meta. Yeah, Meta's up to almost highs of the day here. 645s. So Meta is ripping up here as well, to be honest. So Meta's up a lot. 675s. 675... There's too big of a chance that we reverse if we get down to 675, in my opinion. I would like 700s, maybe 705 or so. CoreWeave still ripping up, though. And NVIDIA might bounce here, but it's under the volume-weighted average price now as well. So if NVIDIA doesn't start bouncing here, we could see a reversal in the NASDAQ. I'm not saying we do, but we could see a reversal if the NASDAQ follows NVIDIA. NVIDIA's still dipping, though. Let's see if it holds. Yeah, but here's the NASDAQ on the chart here, man. Yeah, NVIDIA's starting to fade a little bit. It's at 191s now. Although Meta just broke highs of the day, so Meta might prop us up. Same thing with Microsoft just broke highs of the day as well. So did Amazon. So other Mag 7 stocks holding us up.
Sounds like a good day so far.
Yeah, it's a bullish day since the opening bell for sure. And I think this mixed with the optimism about resumed talks is good. We'll see if it holds, though. We'll see if it holds. Gold, too. Yeah, gold's going to follow macro markets. So NASDAQ, S&P, Dow are pushing up. Gold's probably pushing up in recent markets, at least. All right, so
just out of curiosity... Good, sorry.
No, you're good. Look, I might take a risky short here. I'm going to short this. There we go. Very green on my short position. There we go. Immediate green here. I'm going to take half off. I have to. Look how quickly this went in my favor here, guys. Wow. I think I got to cut this right here, dude. I got in right on time, bro. I don't know what just happened. I think I got lucky. Maybe my prediction was just good. So I do see that the temporary easing of sanctions on Russian oil has ended this weekend, and the U.S. has decided not to extend it. Treasury Secretary Bessent informed Congress that Washington continues to enforce the sanction authorities introduced in 2021. So that could be causing more fears about scarcity in oil. Let's look at oil.
Pretty decent downturn here.
Yeah, oil just spiked a little bit too over the last minute.
From what to what?
It spiked from 94s up to 95s. It could just be NVIDIA, though. NVIDIA turned. So did Google. So did Microsoft's pulling back a little bit as well. So it doesn't mean anything yet. But we'll let this continue. All right, guys. Yeah, we're 10 minutes into the day here. I don't think we have any other economics today. We got Goolsby supposed to speak in 5 minutes. Outside of that, we got some Fed members speaking today, but we don't really have anything big. What do you guys think? Long or short right here? I'm almost curious about going long right here. This is the first reasonable pullback. I wanted 705s here. So remember, I thought about buying a dip to 705s.
Try it long and see what happens.
Yeah, we got green enough on the day where we're at 705s. I'll buy this here. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna hold this close to break even though if it turns. I don't like that retracement candle. I'm going to cut half of this here just to limit my risk, and then we'll add back if we go more green. This will allow me to be a little bit more loose on the trade and reducing my risk. It might go in my favor, and I might miss out on profits, which it kind of looks like, but yeah, it did. But it's all right. Again, now we can be more loose. 705s, guys. I could add back to this on this pullback here and see if we get a continuation. There we go. Yep, we're going to take half off there. Yep. And we'll cut it here. I told you guys, 705s, man. 705s. Look at this. That's 705 right there. Volume profile helped me out. And look at that pop. 705s worked. Not too bad. We just broke highs of the day really quick, though, and then retraced back down here.
You think it's going to start trending sideways now, or?
I don't know. It just tapped over highs of the day here. We could trend sideways for a little while. Like, you have to look at it, stocks sometimes, or markets, as exhaustion. So we push up a lot, we pull back a little bit, and then we catch up some strength and we rest a little bit going sideways, and then maybe we rip back up, or maybe the bears get in control, right? But you got to look at it kind of like exhaustion. Like, if we're exhausted, we'll either move down or sideways. But this little dip could allow more buyers to step in and push higher. I'm really not sure here. We're only about 15 minutes into the day, so.
Someone asked what your promotion code is for take profit.
BGT is my promotion code. BGT. Let me know what the abbreviation stands for. BGT, guys, at checkout. It might be in big yellow letters right here. It could be. I'm not saying it is. It might be, though. But I appreciate it. No, I'm just joking. Yeah, you can use BGT on all of them. You can use it on Take Profit, Lucid. You can use it on Apex. You can use it on Tradeify. All right, NASDAQ starting to rip here. We're at 750s. 750s on the NASDAQ. Right around it, at least. Let's see if we can get over this high. Momentum's definitely on the upside right now. NVIDIA has completely gotten back up to 192s here. It's over the volume weighted average price now as well. CoreWeave still pushing up. Google has rebounded. Meta never really stopped. Meta's all the way back up to highs of the day again here. So we just broke highs 756 on the NASDAQ here. 756. Bulbous green tree frog? Bubble gut turds? No.
Bryant Gumbel trending.
Bad gamble trades. Best group trading. Hey, my guy VA. You know. I'm trying to think of an abbreviation. I just running a blank here.
I know it took me forever to come up with the Bryant Gumbel thing.
Bad guy today. Bad guy today. That's me. Bad guy tomorrow as well. I'm like the Chael Sonnen of trading. That's what it is, you know. I mean, I'm up hundreds today. For sure. I don't think I've had many losing trades, to be honest, today so far. We can look at my actual stats on Trade8, but I don't think I've had much losing trades today. Yeah, if we look at my stats. Okay, apparently I have. I'm 70-25 today. Here's my accuracy day.
I guess I saw Bubblegum trading a couple weeks ago, but maybe I'm wrong. Either way, it's a good one.
Yeah, Bubblegum. Yeah, here's my stats right now. I am today 70-25 and 5. So, I don't remember having losing trades, but there might have been some trades that I cut in the losses. But I ended up netting total. Depends on how you calculate the trade. But NASDAQ's still at highs. Still pushing up. Meta's pushing up almost to 650s. Alphabet's pushing up. NVIDIA's pushing towards highs of the day as well. CoreWeave is pushing up. Amazon is pushing up towards highs of the day as well here. So...
what's it called when there's a gray candle? I know the term, I just can't think of it.
A doji?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. This little guy right here.
First time I've seen one since I started coming on here with you.
Yeah. But this also might be considered a doji candle here as well. Like, Like an even upwick and downwick could be considered one also. It just depends on how you define it. What you learn in trading is that people define things differently. Like some people could define penny stocks as literal pennies, like 10 cents or less. Other people define them under $5, which is what I define them as. So the definitions range for each thing a lot of the time in trading because there's so many traders with so many definitions. Anyways, NASDAQ up to 263s at the highs now, 263s, and this is mostly driven by tech rebounding today. Tech has been pushing here. Again, Goolsby is speaking. He says we have been above the target for 5 straight years. I'm assuming he's talking about inflation. Again, Feds Goolsby says there are circumstances where rates can go up and circumstances for hold or decrease. We have to pay attention to inflation expectation. His concern is how long this is going to last. And again, he said we have been above target for 5 straight years. Well, I look at the S&P 500 as well. Like, we look at a little bit of everything. S&P 500 is doing very similar things to the NASDAQ, though. So the S&P and NASDAQ are very similar.
Yeah, I think someone asked if that broke all-time highs today. The S&P.
I don't think so. No. The S&P all-time highs are 7,002. If you're looking at the E-mini S&P futures contract, it's like 70,040. So, no, the S&P has not broken all-time highs. But all of this is getting close here. Remember, the NASDAQ all-time highs are 26,400s. So, Meta just broke highs, though. Meta broke highs. Amazon's close to highs. NVIDIA, which is, again, the most heavily weighted stock, is back up to 192.4s or so. Yeah, Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin is all the way up to 75,000+, which is great news for Bitcoin. It's starting to dip a little bit here. But Bitcoin is starting to move up here. Here's Bitcoin. Again, 75.2s for Bitcoin. So it's going as well. But Bitcoin hit 74.55s almost, 76s. Most dopamine I've had in a single day. What, Britt?
Huh?
What'd you say? Oh, you're loud.
Oh, sorry. Is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. No, I was just saying Satoshi says semiconductors are getting crushed.
That's not true.
I was just curious.
Yeah, you might be. I mean, look. TSM drops earnings later this week. They're still pretty green on the day. I don't know if they're getting crushed, but they're definitely red since the opening bell. MU's down also. So, I mean, some of them are.
Okay, I was just curious if it was accurate. That's all.
Yeah, I don't know if they're getting crushed, but some of them are opening red, but they're still green on the day. Yeah, Goolsby says we will get inflation at 2%. He said, if I saw progress on core inflation, I'd be feeling better even if headline was high. We have to wait and see what happens with oil. If inflation doesn't show improvement, time for optimism gets postponed. The longer this goes, if inflation stays up, that pushes cuts out of 2026 this year. If services inflation comes unglued, that would be a bad sign as well. We have to wait and see what happens with oil. So Goolsby speaking right now. I don't know how much he's impacting this. I think this is mostly just tech rebounding. Maybe some software rebounds here as well, driving this market currently. So a little bit more optimism for sure, but it's not Iran news pushing things. So time will tell. We will wait and see here, guys. Again, NVIDIA is still up to 193s here. I'm going to keep trading this, though. I'm going to keep trading this. It still looks bullish on the NASDAQ here. We have a nice cushion on the day. I think this is when I go big, right, chat? Should I go big right now, or should I lock in profit, trade a different account? What do you guys think? Go big or go home? Let me know in chat right now. Go big or go home?
I think the second one.
Go home is definitely the more responsible person thing to say. But I'm not the most responsible guy, especially in trading. Full port. Do you go big, lock in? How much? I'm up a like 2 something right now, I think. Go herm, permabull, go big, lock in profits.
It depends on
All
how much
in.
fun you want to have potentially. I mean, I think
I like to have fun.
the common sense thing probably is to get up from the table and walk away, but I don't know. It could pay off if you don't.
You got to go from two different perspectives, though. On a risk management perspective, right? The day to swing big is when you're already up big because you have less risk. With end of day drawdown options in these prop firms, like I have more room to go big when I'm already up a decent amount on the day. That's the argument for going big right now, and that's honestly the side I'm siding with. I need to see the right setup, though. I'm not just going to blindly enter it and go big. I need to see the right setup. And so I would say if we dip down to like 720s here, maybe I'll buy this and have a very tight risk, but with some bigger size. And it depends on what's going on in markets as well. So Microsoft is starting to pull back. NVIDIA is right at highs of the day, though. NVIDIA's at 193.10s. It's at 193.30 highs. So 193.10s for NVIDIA, 193.30 highs. But
good.
Listen to your heart. There's a techno song. I can't remember the lyrics. But
it's gotta listen to your heart, and he's calling for you.
Yeah. Bad memories, fun times, bad memories. Nasdaq up to 750s here, 760s. Let's see if this holds.
So basically, go big, and if you lose, then you might lose some profit, but you don't necessarily go negative for the day.
Right, exactly. Right, go big or blame chat is kind of where I'm going here. I might not get
chat.
I might not get the chance to be honest here though. Because we're so close to highs. I don't want to buy it here. We're too close to the high of the day. Chat needs a disclaimer.
Chat needs a disclaimer.
Yeah.
Gambler died in his sleep. That's a Kenny Rogers reference, which I appreciate.
I pictured a young, heartbroken John singing that song after a breakup. Yeah, those aren't the bad memories I'm talking about, but I get it. You know, we're up to 7.5s here. 7.5s.
Nostalgia. That was a great song.
Either way, yeah. Wait a minute, guys. Wait. Hold on. I'm just figuring this out right now. But I am home. This is just a green screen. I don't actually live in Toss, man. This is a green screen right now, man. I know some of you guys thought I lived in Thinkorswim's database. Yeah, I don't know. This pullback is a little bit too small. I need I'll look for like 725s right here. I'll buy that dip. Maybe 720s. NVIDIA is dipping down. Microsoft's right at the volume weighted average price. Again, give me 720s. And I'll buy that dip.
I feel betrayed.
Yeah, my microphone is actually kind of hidden here, which is probably for the best.
Honestly, it's just the fact that it's an outline of the mic is bothering me more than if it was the entire mic.
Honestly, I've been watching it and I kind of feel the same way. I can change the color of the mic and then you'd still be able to see it, but it gets less in the way.
Yeah, you do you. I mean, it's not bothering me that bad.
Yeah. All right, guys. We have a pullback here. We are going to try to go big on the day here. We're going to try. Let's see if we do. Okay, give me 720s. And then very tight risk at 720s. Hold on, wait. This might be catalyst driven here. Watch it give me 720s right here. Hold on, let me make sure there's no news and then I will buy this if I have time. Okay, I don't see any news. All right, here's 720s. We're in. I need to add more, but we don't really have a chance to. I didn't get the chance to add more here, guys. I have to take some of this off. I know I was supposed to go big. It just rebounded so fast in my favor here. Like, look at this bounce. 720s, dude. Am I an insider? Do I know things? Now we can hold the rest break even, but I will add to it if we get deeper in the green testing highs. I just didn't have a chance to really go big. We're up hundreds on the day now. And I can hold this break even. My entries have been on point today, though, dude. Like, every trade I've gotten in today has just been immediately, like, really green. You know, you're looking for those pivot points that people pay attention to. But we'll give this a second now. But man, I cut it so quick. It just went so fast in my favor.
Yeah, dude, you might be AI or something, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, like, with the brain in a jar.
You know, one of the most scary simulation theories is that all of us are AI, and that we're just living in somebody else's simulations.
I don't know why people find stuff like that scary. Like, oh, what? Like, even if that was the case, does that really change your reality?
No, it definitely makes you think more.
It does make you think, but honestly, if we found that out, it wouldn't bother me. Like, I'm still me. I still like have my friends and my family. Like, so who cares?
Yeah, that's true. All right, so we've rebounded a pretty significant amount here. I'm going to hold this and see if I can add more to it. But man, I literally got it at the lows here, but I'll cut the rest break even if we do break down, but man. All right, so again, we're in this trade. I mean, look, small trades, but small base hits are sometimes what wins the race here. That didn't make any sense. I'm sorry for that analogy. The rabbit sometimes loses to the turtle. That's what it is.
Slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah. I combined two of them together. I'm the sharpest shoe in the box, guys. I'm the sharpest shoe in the box. All right, I'm going to cut this right. I'm going to get out break even here. So,
I mean, this isn't rocket surgery.
Yeah. That's right. I
hope you guys enjoy mixed metaphors as much as I do.
Yeah. The worst is when you're trying to call somebody stupid and you'll be like, yeah, you know, they're not the sharpest shoe in the box. Ha ha ha. You know?
Yeah, reflects real good on you, huh?
Yeah. And you're just oblivious to the fact that you mix two together. You sound like, yeah, those are the worst, man. I can't say I've never done it, though. I can't say I've never done it. All right, I'm going to cut this right here, break even. Very green trade, though. We're up a lot today. Very nice. Feels good, man. Feels good. And we got out just in time, so... Yeah, you can see my accuracy today is 74% right now. I thought it was higher. I don't remember having many losing trades today. I think some trades I would take mostly profit and then cut it around break even. So I honestly think that's where the losing trades came from. About 21% of my trades are losing trades, and I think that's just what it is that I'll have a green trade and then I'll hold it break even so that I'm going to make money no matter what. But if it turns against me at the end, I'm still green, you know, and I think that's why my accuracy is not higher. But again, my accuracy is right at 74% right now for today, which is good. I'll take it. Green accuracy is, you know.
You're the greatest, dude. You're my hero.
I know, listen. I'm like Kick-Ass, but, you know, but better.
Wait, does that mean I'm the the girl that beats him up all the time?
Yeah, you're McLovin, Britt. You're McLovin. Yeah.
Oh, God, no.
All right, NVIDIA, pull it back. It's at 192s. 192s. Yeah, you're Biff, Britt.
I'm what?
You're Biff.
From Back to the Future?
Yes, that's you, Britt.
Oh, no, dude. About as funny as a screen door on a battleship, you know?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. That's exactly what AI would say. Yeah, yeah. Oof. All right, guys, there's 10 o'clock. Let's see if we get some volatility here. We are green, and we've been having pretty nice trades. Like, I will take the green trades we've had today. I'm actually going to switch accounts now because, like, we're up enough in this account to where it just doesn't make enough sense for me to keep trading this. It's better to just lock in the profit and then trade with something else. And so we're going to switch to our other funded account now. So this is a different funded account that we are now trading here. We've got a little bit of a rebound here. A little bit of one. Oh yeah, you're talking. I heard that. The Back to the Future 2 Biff.
I was going to ask if that was true, or if it was just conjecture.
It's what I've heard. I don't know if it's true or not. It's what I've heard. And Back to the Future 2 is one of my favorites. It's one of the darker ones, right? The most dark one. And so...
1 is by far the best, but I'm sorry. I got to say 3 is stronger than 2.
I disagree, man. I disagree with that. 2 is way better. 2 is more interesting, darker, just better. Like, it was a little confusing, but Back to the Future 3 was just a Western set in Back to the Future environment. And I love a good Western, right? But I think in terms of continuing off of 1, 2 is obviously better. All right, so here's 720s again. Should I buy this dip again here too? I mean, the good thing about like a dip here, and again, I'm not an investment professional, is that you can buy a dip here and then keep a really tight risk.
Pew says make a Back to the Future poll. It's not necessary. 3's better.
I disagree, man. Yeah, here's the oil. I know, look at oil falling here. Let me make sure there's no news going on, huh? Okay, so the Trump administration official says we have all the components of a deal, but it's not finalized yet. This actually came out way earlier. I don't know why they're dropping that like it's new. We covered that when it came out like an hour ago. NVIDIA is introducing Icing, the first OpenAI model aimed at speeding up the development of usable quantum computers. ISING. I don't see any other news. I appreciate the donation though. Thank you. Thank you, N. He said oil gas futures falling off a cliff. France doing gas price caps. Yeah, look at oil dip here, guys. So oil down to $94 a barrel here for Brent or for WTI crude. NVIDIA's starting to turn back down as well here.
Later, Dave.
Oil and the market are kind of following each other now, which is a very interesting dynamic. Here's oil. Look at oil dip. So oil's been dropping. And then look at the NASDAQ dip here. So I might buy this again on this account. Different account now. Again, I like the 720s dip buy level, and I can use a pretty tight stop loss here. I'm going to start small, and then we'll add to it if it goes in my favor here for this trade. So again, we're going to start pretty small. We'll add to it if it goes in my favor. And so far, it is not going in my favor. We'll give it a very quick second, but not a lot. This kind of looks catalyst driven as well here, but we'll give it a second.
Saying I sound like Hank Kingsley? I mean, I appreciate the Larry Sanders reference, but...
Yeah, I just reduced my size to only about 1 contract here, and we'll add to it if it goes in my favor, but I'm not going to add to a losing trade here. And even though it did retrace all the way back higher here, there's still like a pretty volatile movement going on in this chart. So I'm going to reduce my size and be a little bit more patient and then add back my size if we go in the green. Griffin says we have a classic energy price shock unfolding across the world as we speak. So this is the Citadel CEO, Ken Griffin. He says the conflict in Iran is one of the greatest geopolitical events of our lifetime. I wonder if he's...
I agree with that.
Yeah, no, for sure. So again, a senior Trump admin official says strong indicators toward reaching agreement with Iran, but the picture is not complete yet. All right, so we're great on this trade now, but we did take some of this off just to protect. And again, we'll sit tight now. We'll add back if it goes green, but I think I do have to wait for that type of dynamic here and just wait until we can actually go green. There we go, and then add back size to eliminate risk, if that makes sense. We are over 30 minutes into the open, so. Let's see what happens here. I'm watching NVIDIA and tech as well. All right, I'm gonna add size back here. All right, so we're in 2 contracts again. We'll add more if we go in my favor here, but pretty much flat trade right now. Let's see if we can go green. A little uncertainty and indecisiveness in the market is what it looks like to me, but that's better. There we go. There we go. That's nice. There we go. We'll take half off here. With the new account, I got to start small on the day, guys. And since we're so green in this, we got to take the profit and lock it in. Very green action coming through in markets here. Let's see. Could be the Nvidia news. Nvidia, it was creeping back up. It did run into the volume weighted average price. I will add back size here if we can go deep enough into the green. We're getting close to the high of the day, right? So maybe that will be magnetic. There we go. All right, I'm going to add back size here. Give it a little second to push up towards highs. But also just be a little careful with it. Small trade so far. There we go. Yep.
So other than oil, is everything kind of tracking with the NASDAQ?
I mean, some things are. Software's rebounded some today. That's one of the things helping markets. Oil's actually fading down right now.
I figured it would be.
Yeah. I'll hold this break even or so now. There we go. More strength showing up. Let's see if it holds. It looks good, but I don't know if I trust it right now. I hope it goes up though. Obviously, I'm green, but there we go. That's a nice pop. All right, I would take half off at the top of this range here and then be pretty tight on the rest. If we push towards these highs is what I'm looking for. Kind of a magnetic dynamic here, but oop, there we go. We didn't really get a big follow through. Ah, there we go. Okay. There we go. I'm gonna cut it right there. Small, but we're building up a cushion on the day. Oil continues to break down here. Look at oil, guys. Wow, oil down to 92.60s right now. So more optimism getting priced into this conflict is what this is. Pentagon awarded Lockheed Martin up to $1.9 billion to continue C-130J maintenance. Griffin is also saying pretty bearish things. He said the world will end up in a recession if the Hormuz Strait remains closed for the next 6 to 12 months. But oil is fading down here. Maybe more optimism.
I might be wrong, but I don't see this lasting that long.
Yeah. I mean, look, we'll see, man. You never really know.
No, I mean, again, I'm it's not like I can say with any certainty. It's just what I think.
Oh wait, you said that you don't think the conflict lasts very long?
No, I still think it'll be over within the next month to 2 months. But yeah. I definitely don't see it lasting 6 to 12 months.
Well, that's that.
I might be wrong.
Yeah, I mean, the risk here is that even if the conflict ends today, right, technically, like they announce an end to it or whatever, it doesn't mean the strait's going to open back up. And even still, we're seeing high oil regardless. And so I think that's the big worry, is that even if it ends tomorrow, we're still going to have lasting effects on oil prices is going to be their argument, Yeah, oil's fading down. Yeah, oil's just dumping down here. Look at WTI crude at 92.60s right now. 92.60s.
Is Brent doing roughly the same thing?
Brent's fading down too, but let me look it up. Yeah, Brit's down to, I'm showing like 96s right now. So Brit's actually over WTI crude. But it's still fading down some today. You know, it's at a 95, 380s. So Brit is now back over. NASDAQ just tapped highs of the day here. 768s. I might buy this dip at 745 right here. The riskier dip buy, but we got a cushion on the day, so we can trade with some risk now on this one. A little bit larger size. Try to scalp it. I did take a payout on Lucid last week. They processed it in literally 1 minute, guys. So if you have not checked out Lucid, check them out, man. Lucid processes payouts incredibly fast. Incredibly fast. Genuinely a great way to learn when most day traders lose money is try these funded account programs. Oh, I wanted 745s. I'm gonna buy this dip. It's a riskier dip though. We're in there we go. I immediately got out of that size I was in. I was in bigger size. And we have a cushion on the day. But we'll add back if we go deeper into the green. There we go. There we go. Dude. I've just been entering. And dude, my entries have been very nice. I'll hold the rest of this break even. I'm using the volume profile. You see all this high volume area right here? I wanted that to hold. And that's what it did. This is how you use the volume profile to time entries, but yes, sir. All right, we're out. I'm going to take that profit real quick right there on a scout. But again, if you want to check out, use the coupon code BGT. Oh, yeah, I am going to do a Lucid giveaway today. I forgot about that.
You're going to do it because I definitely forgot.
Yeah, I forgot about it too. My bad, guys. Again, if you want to check out Lucid, again, let's go ahead and do the giveaway. Here's the Lucid link right here in chat. Again, you can also check out Take Profit, some of the best for beginners, Take Profit trading. You can find all these. You can find all of this in the description if you want to check them out. All of this is in the description. Here's Lucid right here. Use coupon code BGT. Again, they processed my payout in literally 1 minute the other day, and I got it in my bank account almost that fast too. Nasdaq just broke highs. We're up to 773s. 773s. But yeah, let's go ahead and do the giveaway. We're just gonna do Nightbot giveaway. All right, so again, use exclamation point BGT to enter the giveaway. Exclamation point BGT. To enter to win a free Lucid account here, guys. Free Lucid account, exclamation point BGT. Yeah, I mean, the IMF report dropped, what, a couple minutes ago? Like, at 9 a.m., so it's not even right. Pakistan's prime minister says we'll travel to Saudi Arabia and Turkey this week to promote peace efforts. But if you want to take part in the Lucid account giveaway, exclamation point BGT is what you enter. Exclamation point BGT at checkout. We'll get you the max discount. Or no, I'm sorry. We'll enter the giveaway. I'm already funded, Blaze, on Lucid. I think there's a flex funded account, but yeah, I mean, I can look to see if the IMF report happened, but then Nasdaq pushed up here. IMF warns of forced selling of leveraged bond holdings if rates rise. They see further risk of further big falls in asset prices if the war is protracted. We did get some IMF data, but the Nasdaq is still flying higher here. Look at this Nasdaq push. Again, exclamation point BGT will sign you up for the giveaway. That's all you got to do. It's exclamation point BGT. Still, though, guys, you better join our freaking Discord. All right? Join our Discord. Do it now. Everybody's doing it. And if you win, you got to be part of the Discord anyway.
All the cool kids are going to be there.
Right, here's the Discord link, guys. Check it out. There it is. Join our Discord, you ungrateful chat. Do it now. Guys, do it now. NASDAQ is higher here. We're at 785s. Could be the IMF news. Again, I don't think this IMF news seems optimistic, but they urge its members to be prepared for market dysfunction and liquidity squeezes. They see higher rollover risks in bonds. They warned of forced selling of bond holdings if rates rise. They see risks of further big falls in asset prices. None of this seems good, but the NASDAQ is up to 787s here. 787s. And subscribe, guys. If you're not subscribed, you get nothing here. You're not subscribed, you know, you get nothing. Follow me on x.com at beginner trades as well. Do it now. Don't you talk bad about Nightbot Pew. You don't have to enter it multiple times. It's not going to matter. IMF warns that AI investments may decline if the situation in the Middle East continues. All right, here goes the NASDAQ starting to turn down here.
Honestly, Nightbot sounds like a Batman spinoff.
All right, guys, y'all ready? Again, if you're watching this from home and you're not subscribed and you're not participating in the giveaway, do it now. Subscribe. You can immediately type in chat, and if you enter exclamation point BGT, you might win a free eval on Lucid.
Yeah, but you literally got nothing to lose.
Yeah, first and last, you don't have to keep saying it, brother. You said it like 5 times, dude. You don't have to keep saying it again. If you said it once, you're in there. All right? You don't have to keep saying it, guys.
They're just trying to show their enthusiasm.
I see it, man. I see it. They're enthusiastic. Yeah, they're enthusiastic here. Yeah, listen, I need my likes better. How many likes do I have? I have 382. I need 400 plus.
Up to 384.
Oh, I'm watching here. You know.
Oh. Like the chat has answered the call. Well. On. All right.
Yeah, I'm looking at all of you guys with judgy eyes right now, dude. You know.
Show them the eyes.
I'm watching you, chat.
All right, 405. And
Can we break
apparently.
it? Okay.
Yeah, dude.
I knew I could believe. I knew I could trust in you guys.
Dependable is what you guys are.
Yeah. Unless we're talking about entries.
Yeah, then you're wrong all the time.
Yeah, because remember, guys, you guys called. Let's just zoom back in here for a second. Here's the chart. Let me fix this. You guys literally
smashing the like button out of guilt.
Yeah, you guys literally were bearish right here. We never forget. We never forget. NASDAQ is pushing higher here, though. We're at 780s. All right, guys.
In all seriousness, thanks for smashing the like button.
We appreciate it. Yeah, we appreciate it. I knew you guys could do it. I knew it. You know. All right, so let's prepare ourselves here. We got serious things going on. It's a serious moment in time today. You guys ready for the winner?
I know I'm waiting with bated breath to find out who it is.
Right. And the winner is Brit. No, just
Yes.
Yeah.
Didn't even enter.
Yeah. All right, y'all ready? All right, so look, Nightbot is gonna pick this. All right. Again, here's Nightbot. Nightbot is gonna pick out of all of these names right here. All right. Nightbot is gonna randomly pick a winner here today. All right, we'll see who it is, guys. Look, I'm gonna do this live on stream, so you guys can't get mad at me if for whoever it is. You know, whoever it is, Nightbot's picking it, not me. I'm not picking it. Again, real quick, I'll give you guys 20 more seconds. Exclamation point BGT signs you up for the giveaway. Exclamation point BGT. We have until 20 seconds. 15 seconds now. 10 seconds. 5 seconds. Exclamation point BGT. There you go. All right, now it's done. It's time, guys. It's time to choose a winner. And the winner is Keegan. You win, bro. You win, Keegan. Confetti rains from the sky. You win, Keegan. Congratulations.
The crowd
brother.
goes wild.
Right. Congratulations, Keegan. You win the giveaway. If you did not win, everybody outside of Keegan, if you did not win, that's okay. You can still sign up using coupon code BGT and get the max discount on Tradeify, Lucid, Take Profit, Apex. Congratulations, Keegan. Congratulations. You did it. You win today. And we'll see if that winning continues for Keegan. Also, real quick, check out Tradeify. Tradeify has some pretty solid deals, like shockingly good deals on Tradeify, man. You can get a funded account, instant funded, lightning funded, I think is what they call it, for $207 on Tradeify. 207 right here. Look at this. Lightning funded. $207 right here. Pretty cheap. You just use coupon code BGT at checkout. BGT. I'll put that link up here as well. You can check it out. But yeah, you can also look at all the description links and figure it out. And yeah, there's the Tradeify link as well. You can check out Lucid. It's pinned to the top of the chat as well. Anyways, Keegan, join our Discord if you're not in there yet, brother. Send me, just comment in the main day trading chat of our Discord. And I'll send you a message with the code. Get you 100% off Lucid accounts, man. Good job, brother. Good job.
Yeah, congratulations.
Nope. It was all skill, no luck. Anyways, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Y'all have a great day. Be safe in markets right now, guys. Be safe in markets. Markets are green on the day, man. They're still pushing up here. So markets are very, very green right now. Very, very green. And we'll see if they hold. We'll see if they hold. Have a great day, guys.
Later, everybody. Thanks for the love.
Yeah, we're green everywhere. Shout out for Jeremiah becoming a member. I appreciate you, my friend. Thank you, sir. You leaving is bearish? I believe that. I believe that. I single-handedly prop this market up right now. So, yeah, have a great day, guys. Cheers to you guys.
Everybody.
All love. Have a great day.